All right, so good to be back at the Jersey Shore at Monmouth Park. Dan Tordjman, Jessica Paquette, ABR Live at Monmouth Park. Haskell Preview Day. Jessica, welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be back. It's a beautiful day to be at the races.
Oh, yeah.
But you know that old saying, right? A rainy day at the racetrack is still better than a sunny day anywhere else. And the crowd does not disappoint here. There are so many folks here. I've seen so many familiar faces from parks and from the old days at Suffolk Downs. I'm having a great day.
Yeah, and I mean, I like this spot. It's a little different from last year. Remember, we're outside. We were kind of overlooking the paddock a little bit, but there was so much wind. You remember we almost got blown over at one point?
Yeah, I do. We were really braving the elements. I know you struggle with those maybe more than some of us do. But this is
What do you
great.
mean by that?
I just, not all of us are meant for the great outdoors.
Yeah.
And this is great. We have the roar of the crowd behind us. And this has been a lot of fun so far. As always, Monmouth really rolls out the red carpet, sets us up really well here.
So speaking of setting up, this is the setup day for Haskell Day, hence Haskell Preview Day. This next race, the Pegasus Stakes, this is the main local prep for the Haskell, which will be run on July 19th here at Monmouth Park. There are also 3 other stakes races that we're going to get into, the Monmouth Stakes, the Salvatore Mile, and the Eatontown Stakes. There's been some rain. The turf is a little soft, a little wet. How do you think that might play into what we might see in the next couple of races?
I think it's just a matter of which kind of horses get over that surface with a little bit of moisture in it. But, the track, they're not going to run on the turf if it's too wet, if it's too soggy. And I know that this isn't a popular opinion, but no one wants to come off of the turf. The horsemen don't want to. The racetrack certainly doesn't want to. And I know the horse players don't want to, but sometimes it's the safest and the best thing to do. I ride horses, and I think about any time I've horse shown on grass, we compete with studs, which is like little cleats in the horse's shoes. Mm-hmm. They can't race with studs. That would be way too dangerous with weapons on their feet.
Yeah.
But that gives them better traction over grass or turf when we're horse showing. So I can't imagine racing on horseshoes without studs when it's slick. So I think, whenever they need to come off, they do come off. And I respect those opinions.
Yeah. And the other thing that happens, you mentioned the horse players, when it rains, you're always looking for scratches, and you're like, like all these horses are coming off, and now we have smaller fields, right? So one thing to look at here in the Pegasus Stakes, and we can add this to the screen. This is the upcoming race. Those are the odds. The 1 and 2 are scratched. Now, not weather-related. These horses ended up, I believe, at Delaware today.
Kentucky Outlaw, I'm very familiar with.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about that. Now, these are horses that are kind of like, I was thinking about like in baseball terms a little bit. Like, these are horses are like players who got up to the major leagues. They were on the road to the Triple Crown. They were going for, a spot in the Kentucky Derby. They didn't make it, and they went back down to sort of the minor leagues, and now this is them trying to kind of get back up to the major leagues again and play against some of the big boys in the level.
Or in the case of a horse like Kentucky Outlaw, who's again not in this spot, or National Law, who I certainly have some opinions about. These are horses that have yet to step up into the major leagues, and they're kind of doing their time in these smaller stakes races. Kentucky Outlaw, there's no telling how good this horse is.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the single most brilliant horse I've called at parks.
Okay.
And National Law is certainly one of the most memorable. So
what is it based on? What? Based on just kind of what part of him makes you say that?
Oh, Kentucky Outlaw's a freak. He's so fast. He does it effortlessly. He covers a ton of ground. And the thing with him that's been so interesting is he's so green that he's difficult to handle. He seems to get in his own way a lot. He comes out of the gate slow. So this is a horse that once he puts any of the mental pieces together, he's won so many races on raw talent. When you call a bunch of races or when you watch a bunch of races, right, you can see the ones that breathe different air, and they just go a little bit differently, like on a Tuesday at parks. Like when this one broke his maiden, I went, he's legitimate.
He's different. Yeah. He's different. So we have somebody standing by here in a moment who's going to come on the set. Actually, she just won the last race. Whenever she's ready, she'll come on. She looks like she's texting, maybe texting the owner saying, hey, we won that race. So it's Lindsay Schultz. She literally just won the 7th race. This replay that you're watching right now is the horse that she trains who just won. What was it? Less Talk, More Work. Is that the name?
In the colors of Marshall Graham's 10 Strike Racing.
There you go. And she's got another one coming up here in one of the stakes races here. It'll be race 9, the Monmouth Stakes. Lindsay has the 8 horse, highest distinction coming up. Well, look, this is a good sign. So I guess you're going to always do shows with us now, right? If it works out like this.
I guess so, yeah. I'll say yes every time. Good luck.
Well, welcome to the set. Welcome, Lindsay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Describe, first of all, we want to know about you, but before we get to you, like, today's sort of a weird day. The weather, how does a trainer prepare for a day like today, knowing that it could all get blown up just based on the weather?
I mean, you can only do so much to prepare. We can't control the weather, so we know, I guess, we know who else is in the race. We probably have an idea of what we're going to do if the race comes off the grass or stays on, or, the track conditions. But honestly, it's a game time decision, right?
And does weather change the instructions you give the rider on a day like this?
Not necessarily, but I mean, like with any racing day, you want to watch how the track's playing, and the jocks are doing that, so you leave some of that up to them.
Tell us a little bit about, we're going to talk about your horse coming up in that race, but tell us about yourself. Where are you from originally? How did you get into this world? How did you become a trainer?
I'm from Connecticut originally. Grew up riding ponies, jumpers, eventers, whatever I could find, really. And I went to college at University of Louisville, studied equine business, and obviously you're right in the background of Churchill Downs, and just absolutely loved it. Got to prep yearlings at Lane's End, hot walk for Nick Zito in the summer, and just kind of grew from there.
And 10 Strike has been a real prominent owner for you. What's that been like as the opportunity that's presented?
I mean, 10 Strike they're the reason I was able to go out on my own to start my own business and train in my name. Marshall, Graham, and Clay Sanders, they've both been huge supporters. And, Marshall helped me to get started. We claimed 5 horses and got going. So I wouldn't be here without them.
What of all of the horses you've trained, who is the most memorable?
I mean, the horse we have in later today, Highest Distinction, is a big one. He won 4 in a row for us a couple years ago, and it's just really exciting horse. Another horse we won the Island with here a couple years ago, Wayland Springs. So those would be probably the top 2.
You mentioned Highest Distinction, and I saw that you won the Baltimore-Washington International, which is somebody who kind of came up in horse racing in that Maryland circuit. I know the history of that race. That was kind of a big deal. That's a grade 3. This company and kind of given the journey that the horse has been through, how do you think he fits here, and kind of thinking about the horse's journey and how he made it here, how do you think it might unfold?
This is a tough spot for him. Obviously, he got on a nice roll after part of the Baltimore-Washington International.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm not sure if they even ran it last year. I think
because it went away for a bunch of years, and then it came back, and I think it's gone now again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But look, the horse, he's doing good. He's training good. He's he's an older horse. We've done a few different things to freshen him up. Sometimes we'll let him go down to Fair Hill and gallop over the hills there, or go out. There's a training center in Louisville too. So just try to keep him happy. Really cool horse.
How do you keep a horse happy? What does that mean exactly?
I give mine donuts and Pop-Tarts.
What does that mean?
That's how I do it. I think there's probably some better methods.
I think you just try to, keep them in their feed tub and with high energy. And
so feed them a lot, just like Jessica's saying.
Well,
it goes a long way.
Whatever they like.
As long as they're eating, that's a good sign. Did you see Baeza, like with the carrot juice? Did you see any of that?
I saw some picture with orange all around his mouth. It looked like dantrolene to me, but it was carrot juice.
That horse is going to be such a good 5-year-old. Like, he's
so cool.
And for sheriffs to have such a precocious young horse, imagine this horse at 5 once he gets his head in the game.
But what? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I got to kind of shadow John Sheriffs a little bit, work for him for 4 weeks.
Oh, cool.
A long time ago, and he was the coolest to be around. But talk about keeping a horse happy. I mean, he knows exactly how to keep each horse happy. He knows what they're thinking.
Who have been some of your mentors as you've come along into a training on your own?
I mean, Tom Proctor is my biggest one. I worked for him for almost 8 years. And Shug McGahee, I got to work for him for almost a year right before I went out on my own. So it really prepared me. And Shug's been good since I left, you know. And, you know, I mentioned I did a little bit of time with Nick Zito, which was pretty neat. It was my first job on the racetrack, so it was a pretty special barn to be in.
Sure, sure.
I like how you said these other folks mentored you. When you said Nick Zito, you said did time as if it was like a prison sentence. We're not going to read into that too much.
What years were you there?
So Datara was there. Icebox was a 2-year-old.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what year that was, but maybe 2012.
Pre or post commentator or pre-commentator?
Commentator was still there. Yeah. Cool. Potato. He was cool.
He
horse.
came to my track at Suffolk.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He did everything.
Do you so you mentioned Shug. Shug has a Signator in your race coming up. Do you ever like trash talk each other like before a race like this? Is that a thing?
Well, we share a barn here, so probably trash talking wouldn't be good.
Is he still like? Is somebody like that? I mean, do you still check in with him and be like, hey, or is it kind of like, you know what, I'm kind of doing my own thing, and we kind of just you kind of leave that behind, or do you still check in with him every once in a while? You're like, hey, I was doing this or thinking about this. What do you think?
I think for us, like as a trainer, you have your own barn, but you really do. You talk to all the other trainers. You want to, the ones that you have a good relationship with, you always try to bounce ideas off of, and constant communication.
You described, kind of having, a good owner and 10 strike and them kind of opening the door for you to kind of go out on your own and do this as a career full-time being a trainer. For people watching who are like, wow, that's cool, being a trainer in horse racing. What advice would you give them? We got a lot of younger viewers. What would you say to them?
Look, it's not a job, right? It's your life. If you love it, you're going to be happy to be in the barn every day. And look, my advice is probably the same as with a lot of careers. Just work really hard at it, and find some good people and good places to learn from. And yeah, I love it.
Well, the thing for all of us that work in racing, right, is it's not what we do, it's who we are. Like, our whole sense of self is wrapped up into this job in this industry. It's not like 5 o'clock hits and like, we're off racing today, we go home and turn it off. It's never like that. When I'm not working, I have TVG on I have FanDuel on in the background, and there's
right.
always I'm checking Twitter too much. All of that.
Is that part of your what is your life like when you're not locked in on your horses, or is there no escape?
pretty much always here. I mean, it is cool being in Jersey, right? You can run down to the beach for a quick walk or run, but clear your head. But no, I mean, look, it's what I do in my time on and time off.
Okay. So you just won the 7th race. You've got a little break here for the 8th race, but then we know you've got to go here in a second because you've got this horse coming up in the 9th race, highest distinction in the Monmouth Stakes. The top 2 finishers get free entry to the United Nations, so that would be the next stop, I would assume, for the horse if he wins or runs well. What is your process like for the next 10, 15 minutes? What are you going to do once you leave the set?
Well, normally I'd be in the barn putting the bridle on and everything, but once I leave, I'll probably just walk over and meet him on the way up.
Assuming we hadn't interrupted you, what would you be doing right now?
So 15 minutes before we come over, we're just cleaning the horse up and letting him have one drink of water before he goes. And then, we put the bridle on about 5 minutes before the race and clean him up, make sure he looks good, and go on.
We'll say thank you to the people who did this because we stole you for this time. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We wish you a lot of luck. I mean, hopefully you run a big one. It sounds like you're feeling good, but it's a tough field, so you're kind of like maybe don't know exactly what to expect, but you feel good about it.
Yeah. The horse he's training good, so we're hopeful and relatively confident.
All right. Well, Lindsay Schultz, thanks for taking a few minutes with us. We appreciate it, and we will. We're going to follow your journey and check back in with you sometime soon. Again, hopefully, we'll have more convenient timing to bring you on to our next show.
Well, look, it was great talking to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right. So we do have 4 minutes. You can see it on the screen there. 4 minutes to the Pegasus Stakes. This is the Haskell setup race on Haskell Preview Day. This is the most important race of the day, so we should probably talk about who we like and how we're betting. There's a 2-5 favorite. That's Garamond. You might recognize that name. We talked about some of the horses who were like on that Derby trail. Garamond was for briefly, ran in the Gotham Stakes, finished third, and then came back and won an allowance race. But really, it's been about a month and a half since we've seen him. He, at the time, the decision was made not to kind of keep pushing him toward those top dogs in this division. And so now they're kind of doing this gradual ramp up with him where he looks to be pretty tough here. He's 3-5. Flavian Pratt, who is, for all intents and purposes, a top 2 or 3 rider in the country. He is in New Jersey. He was here at Monmouth Park to ride him, which is generally a good sign.
That is generally a good sign. And I think this is an interesting group. We haven't talked yet about the horse that, while he was not on the Derby trail, he certainly has gotten more press than any other horse in this race. And that is National Law, who did make some headlines after his maiden win on December 3rd at Parks that I got to call. And
13-1 still.
I just can't believe the odds on this horse. He's so talented, and he came back in his next start and won pretty handily, did not show any of the bad behavior that caused everybody some problems in that race at Parks, and he showed that he could rate a little bit too. I thought it was a good ride by Heavy and Toledo, but it was also a really good professional effort from this horse. I think George Duarte kind of went to the toolbox and got this horse a little bit more focused and did some things training-wise to get him a little bit more focused on the job than causing mischief. And he's one that is, I think he's just a big, goofy baby. And 13-1 just seems like such a steal.
All right, well, you've got to get, so first of all, I don't see your betting app on your phone. Like, you should just get in and just start betting right now.
When you were getting a drink, I absolutely did. Yeah.
Because I've got mine up. I'm like, all right, well, you're making the case. I'm going to probably make a bet here.
So I do everything early in life, right? I have to be early for everything. I have to be prepared. I have to be early. Yeah, no, I will put my bets in kind of when I wake up in the morning if I have a strong opinion so I don't forget.
That's smart. No, that's really smart because I cannot tell you how many times, and most people out there who are watching this probably can relate, that you're like, oh, damn, I was supposed to bet that horse, and I didn't. And they win. So,
my only excuses are when the horse loses.
Interesting thing here. So we're left with the field of, with the scratches, a field of 6. The 6 horse, Wild and Crazy Night, has got a good bit of speed. We've seen speed do well over the track a lot of times when you have a wet track like this and horses are taking a bunch of kickback and mud and stuff in their face. They don't necessarily close, and you see front runners do well. The front end is generally good.
Do you think that horse wants to go 2 turns?
I have no idea, but I feel like he could be. Look, if Garamond goes and they're kind of battling for the lead, then I wouldn't give the 6 any shot at all. But at the very least, maybe it does soften up the 3 a little bit, and then maybe opens up for either your horse, National Law, or I thought another one that was interesting is actually Just a Fair Shake. Was talking to John Piasek a little while ago. He popped in for the first few races. He was like, look. He's like, you got to keep an eye on this horse. I was second to Crudo in the last race. Prior to that was second to Pay Billy, who ran in the Preakness. So you have horses that ran in the Preakness and the Belmont Stakes who just beat this horse. And in both instances, you could have made a case that Just a Fair Shake, the 7 horse, ran about as good a race as any because he had he covered more ground in that race 2 back. And this I didn't know, but I guess I didn't catch, but they had nominated him for the Triple Crown races right after that allowance when he came back this year. So this is a horse who came back a better horse as a 3-year-old when he started this year. So it seems like he's taken the steps forward, but that his full potential might be sort of buried in the fact that he finished second these last 2 races, and maybe there's something there.
I think you have a point there for sure. And back to Garamond, the other point to make with him, and I would hate to give out a 1-5 favorite. That's just not that is not my jam at all. But with this horse's pedigree, Uncle Mo, kind of out of a Tapit mare, boy, I bet he loves this off track.
Yeah.
You just have to think that he is, with his running style, that pedigree, he is engineered to really enjoy this going.
Yep.
I think there's just more value to be had, and I'm very interested with what they do with Wild and Crazy Night. He has some speed. He just seems like more of a 6-furlong type horse. It is worth noting that the horse he beat last time, Go Irish, ran earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't win, but ran very well.
Okay.
So I think that form holds up. I still don't know what that race actually shapes out to be. but I just think this one's more of a sprinter.
The 4 and 5 come out of I think what you would call a key race, and so key race is basically a race where a lot of the horses who come back out of that race end up running well in their future races. So you're like, wow, well they all came out of that race. That's a good sign. It's flattering to the horse's form, and you can say, hey, maybe this horse will run well today. The 4 and 5, Valentinian, the 4, the 5, Bracket Buster, both come out of a race on Kentucky Derby Day, which was over a wet track. The horse Goal Oriented, who won that race, came back and ran 4th in the Preakness. Hypnus came back and won as well his next race. And then you had another horse in the race who came back and win. So these two horses, we haven't seen since then, but their form has been flattered by that race. And they're both horses who are going to be, maybe the 4 ends up being a little farther back, but they should be sitting off of the pace. And again, if the 3 and the 6 go, maybe that sets up for one of them.
And I think his second behind Gosger was actually a really respectable performance. And I think very highly of Gosger.
Yep.
I think he's one that's going to have a
this
big
is Bracket
second.
Buster, the 5 specifically.
That's where I still am. I thought that was a really good second. If you glance through that horse's past performances, and he wasn't in the thick of things with all of these horses, but you see Gosger, you see Sovereignty. He's been keeping some monster company.
Yep. So, all right. We've got 0 minutes to post. People watching, you're making bets. Let us know who you're betting. Jessica, if you were going to make a straight bet
National law, everything that I have in my ADW on national law.
You got any exactas or trifectas you're messing with?
Nope, all in.
Okay. I'm going to mess around with the 7 a little bit, just a fair shake. So that's the 7. So look, we're picking 11 to 1 and 15 to 1, 2 of the 3 longest shots in this race. We're trying to beat Garamond, but I'm with you. I think Bracket Buster, the 5, could be dangerous here. All right, let's see if we get the sound for this. Hopefully we hear.
You back.
There we go. Is that it? Did we hear that sound?
Just a fair shake.
All right, that's Matt Dinnerman up there. We're going to let him bring us the call here for the Pegasus Stakes. Winner of this, headed to the Haskell.
Post, National Law. National Law with Jorge Ruiz coming up to the outside post. We're ready to go. And they're off in the NYRA Bets Pegasus. Garamond was off just a little bit slowly from the inside, and Bracket Buster is going to take advantage, getting to the rail, and strides in front with Wild and Crazy Night. Just a fair shake on a hold running in third. The Gray National Law parked deep as they go into the first turn run. Garamond right behind the speed as they corner into the turn. Valentinian finds himself between horses. 6 runners separated by 3 lengths as they race around.
Did not expect Garamond to be there.
It's a compact group. Wild and Crazy Night, the New Jersey bred, is a share of the lead with the Kentucky shipper Bracket Buster. Stride for stride, approaching the backstretch run. Just a fair shake on a snug hold. He's running in third. Valentinian still between horses, and Garamond the favorite down on the inside. Length and a half to National Law, who will have to pass them all. Just 2.5 lengths from first to last. Still bunched up here as they head down the backstretch. The pace is not fast. Bracket Buster, Wild and Crazy.
How are you feeling at this moment?
I think he's getting a great ride.
An early move 4 wide. He's a joint
now it's just
third
a matter
now
if he's
with
good
just a
enough.
fair shake. Garamond still inside of horses. Valentinian shuffled to the back and has come under a hard ride as they hit the turn. 3 furlongs to go for Bracket Buster. Appears to be going well and puts away Wild and Crazy Night, who's under siege, begins to weaken here. Garamond, Flavian Pratt looking for a spot to go.
Garamond might be beaten.
He's come under a hard ride. Bracket Buster getting away. He's 2 lengths ahead. Now it's 2.5 at the top of the lane here. Wild and Crazy Night trying to re-rally. He's second. Garamond down on the rail. He's in trouble. Still in third.
Get the 7 up for second.
All right.
Get the 7 up for
What
second.
a nice horse.
He's got 7 lengths ahead.
Oh my God,
Bracket
Bracket
Buster
Buster.
and Axel Concepcion. He's
How
gonna
good is
wrap up
Gosger,
the
though?
round. He's punched his ticket to the NYRA Bets Haskell in the NYRA Bets Pegasus. Bracket Buster, love the slop.
Who was
and he
second? I couldn't even tell who that was.
Wild and Crazy Night was second.
6?
Photo finish for third. National Law, and also
Maybe.
just a fair shake. Valentinian.
That was a beautiful ride.
Me and you were photo finish for third. But the show money is going to actually be insane here without Garamond.
I don't bet to show.
Well, I only did in this case because we both made a case against Garamond, so I hope that I finished third.
Sure. No,
But-
this is
but I'm-
the time. This is the opportunity for that for sure.
But yeah, like you said, the 5 here.
Yeah, the six. Wow, good for him.
But but this was that was domination, especially when he sort of opened up there a little bit, and they didn't go all that fast.
So one thing I love to see, especially with these younger riders, right, is when they know to wrap up, and he's not being showy. he has stepped on the gas just enough,
Yeah.
but he's not
Crazy night second.
asking this horse for any more than the horse is giving him. It's a lovely, mature ride.
Axel Concepcion, by the way, the jockey of the 5-horse, also won the last race for Lindsay. He's pretty decent. I mean, it seems
Good things
that way.
come through Parks. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, he is pretty decent. So, oh wait, here we go. Here comes the Haskell Wise Guy horse. Oh wow, I wasn't even close.
And the Jersey bred
I
gets
was fifth.
second.
I didn't see the 4 in the mix. Did you see the 4 there?
No, to be fair, the 4 wasn't one that I was really considering in
Oh.
general.
I didn't even see him in the photo, unless I don't know what I missed.
Good thing you're not the announcer. They'd make fun of you on the internet too.
What, is it hard or something? Is that what you're trying to say?
Please come try.
There's some degree of
The booth is
difficulty
always
involved?
open.
Oh,
You want
my
to come call a
God.
race?
Well, I'm happy to try to call the next race and completely butcher it, like I've told you.
Oh no, I mean come to the booth and like do it for real. For real.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. All right, Bracket Buster is going to be headed to the Haskell. Very impressed. Like you said, Gosker was the horse.
Gosker's real good.
Gosker beat him 2 races ago, comes back, almost wins the Preakness, and then you see that performance from Bracket Buster. That was unbelievably impressive.
That was very impressive.
Yeah.
I think this is a really strong group of 3-year-olds and that we're still going to see some emerge, kind of these later developing ones that are players the second half of the year. I think this is the most fun crop we've had in years.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I mean, look, the top 2 seem to have sort of separated themselves by a fair margin at this moment. But then again, as we mentioned, journalism just got up to beat Gosker. Now, granted, he had a little bit of a different trip. But if we're talking about Gosker being a player, right? If we actually, because people like sort of forgotten about Gosker, like, oh, journalism and sovereignty, right?
Oh,
like,
I had a big win bet on him in the Preakness. I didn't forget.
Oh, did you bet the place at least?
No, Dan,
What are you
no.
doing?
I bet to
mean,
win.
If you're betting a long shot, you got to bet win place.
No.
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 All right. I don't know. I like the added insurance. All right. This is our guy. He's the next. Are you ready? All right. Come on.
All right.
Do you want a headset? Maybe you can get a little IFB on you. Plug in. So Mark DiLorenzo is going to be joining us in a moment. Handicapper, owner of Giddy Up Bets. He's
cool.
actually been incredibly hot on at Aqueduct. He picked I think something like 34-1 winner yesterday. That was his top pick. So hopefully he can save me because I need saving.
You might be beyond help, but we'll do our very best.
All right. Before he comes on, I want to show you those prices there. You can see the payouts there: $960 to win, $1740 to place. The show payouts respectable. I expect them to be actually higher, given that Garamond was off the board. But nonetheless, if you've got that exacta and trifecta, you're also probably doing pretty well. Dilo, as he mics up, wanted to talk real quick about this TikTok mashup that we have ready to show.
This is cool.
I want you to set the stage for it though before we talk about it.
Okay, so there are a lot of things in horse racing that people think they can do, right? Call the
What
races,
possibly could
ride
you
the
do?
races. But what these men and women do on the track in the mornings and in the afternoons, I have a lot of delusion. I could not do that. And Ramon Moya has done such a magnificent job capturing what it's like to gallop a horse in the morning, and he does it in such a way that he explains what's going on to someone that maybe doesn't know. And he's reached a broader horse-friendly audience, and I think the work that he is doing to show racing in such a positive light is amazing. He's a jockey at Parks and here at Monmouth, and it's been a real pleasure getting to know him in my time at Parks, and this is just must-watch on TikTok.
See it.
Nice little morning. I haven't been on this one in a while. See how I raised my left hand? Kind of jerk that left rein a little bit to make them switch to the left lead. Watch when we hit that turn by the quarter pole. I'd say 90% of horses get a little jumpy around that spot. I'm gonna tell you why. See, the rail is kind of like your best friend if you're jogging a tougher one. All right, we gotta go around. Watch this. So now she's gonna go around. She gets tougher. Coming by, you guys. Yeah, right. Saturday. But sometimes when you're on the rail, you have a little more control of them. Because even when I went to pull her up, like by the wire, she understood that.
Right.
You know, a lot of babies are like, wait, you're not supposed to pull me up here. She listened to me very well, so that was good. There we go.
I love that.
So cool, right?
I love that.
It makes you feel like you're right there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there are a lot of people in racing who have the ability to do that stuff, but technology is a little bit of it's a challenge, right? And so, you know, we, like America's Best Racing, we put such a massive emphasis on creating video that brings people, you know, into the action, takes them behind the scenes, all the rest of it. But to see someone involved in the sport without any, no one told him to do that.
It's so authentic.
He just I'm going to do this. I have the opportunity to show people, to tell this story. He's doing it, and it's pretty freaking cool.
I think he's just such a remarkable person. He's been very candid about the way he's overcome some struggles with addiction as well, and I think just so highly of him, and he's doing great things for racing.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, Mark, you're on the set. What did you hit yesterday that we didn't? My dad didn't connect on the pick. So my dad follows his picks, and will tell me every day whether he's had a terrible day or a good day. Recently, it's been all good days.
Has it?
I mean, hasn't it? I mean, didn't you have a dominant day
it's
Sunday?
Been a good couple of weeks.
Yeah, you've been crushing it. So
thank
tell
you.
us, first of all, tell us about what you do, and tell us about that winner yesterday, because that was a pretty nice one. 34-1.
Dan, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Just for introductions, Jess, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
You know,
Close.
You brought the rain.
There you go.
Wherever I see you,
You brought the rain.
No, Preakness rain. Derby rain. Last weekend, Saratoga, Monmouth Stakes, rain.
That's true.
But thank you for having me on. I am the founder and one of a few people now that work for GiddyUpBets.com. We provide research and analysis, and we track all the charts and bias out all the tracks at pretty much the NYRA tracks and on big days all around the country. It started out about 6 or 7 years ago, and it just keeps growing and growing. And a list of Excel people of about 40 or 50 people has kind of grown to 4,000, close to 4,500 people now. One of them being Dan's dad, who is probably my favorite person in the world. Not only is he my accountant, but he's Dan's dad.
Not joking, no, my dad does his taxes.
Yes, very upset when he can't bet on Easter. He also
Can
is
you
very...
explain this? Because
That's a New
I
York
feel like
thing.
I've tried to explain this to people my whole life, and they're like, what is he so upset about? Can you explain his ire?
Well, I don't work for the state, Dan, but if I did, I would tell you that it's a religious holiday in New York, and
They take it very seriously.
I don't know if you know this, but on that day, the Lord...
But what about his argument? Casinos
in essence,
are open.
NYRA has been run by Irish Catholics for a very long time. This is pretty much how I would give you this, and they're not running on Easter. You're not allowed to bet.
But no one's allowed to.
No one
can
not just
participate.
Dan's dad.
Yeah, nobody. It's not just your dad's specific.
Everyone. So I live in New Jersey, so Dan's dad.
The state of heathens?
Hey, yes, exactly. So Dan's dad's like, you like anybody today? I can't bet. Frown face text. Sorry, Dan's dad.
I'm waiting for him to jump in the chat. At some point, I think he will.
Yes, he's the best. He's one of about 4,500 people that subscribe to GiddyUpBets.com now. I'm forever grateful to Dan, who was literally one of the first people that was like, I remember texting or emailing you or DMing you 6 or 7 years ago, and I was like, hey, you're running this website, The Anonymous Racing. Like, I used to go to the racetrack with my dad. I grew up coming here, and I thought they could do a little better at picking winners, so I started reading a few books and talking to some people that knew a little bit more than they did, and people started asking me who I liked in the Derby and the Breeders' Cup, and about 6 or 7 years ago, I singled Champagne Room in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. It was 40-1, and I made $100,000 that day, and half my friends hated me because I didn't tell them about it. So I said, all right, everybody give me your email. I will email you out, and that list of about 30 has grown to over about 4,000 people. So that's what I do. Yesterday we hit a 43-1 shot at Aqueducts. Couldn't connect on the pick six though. Was against Baby Yoda, so I'm not a big Star Wars fan anymore. And other than that, Dan told me to come down in the pouring rain. It's packed here though. It's crowded.
Can we just get back to betting on Easter for 1 second?
Sure.
The issue is not that we can't bet on Easter. It's what his main issue is, and he makes it clear. He's like, how come you could go to Resorts
Talking
World?
about your dad now, not me. Your dad.
Yeah.
This is your dad's.
You're like, I don't want to be associated.
Let's separate the two, okay?
His whole critique is that why can you buy scratch-off tickets? Why can you play? Why can you go to the casino? Like, you can go to the casino. Like, if you can do all that, why can't you bet on horses? That's his argument.
I'm telling you, if you're asking me the reason why, I'm not. This isn't like a joke or anything. But what I have been told is that NYRA had been run by Irish Catholics for a very long time, and you weren't allowed to bet on Good Friday for a very long time. That's recently changed. So, it's for the days for the Lord.
I'm just thinking of the times in Catholic school I got in trouble for sneaking a daily racing form in. So I had 13 years of Catholic school, and I got in trouble a lot for things like that. So it makes sense.
You get it. Chucky's in the chat. He says, "Giddy up, guys."
Giddy up, Chucky. One of the sharpest guys out there.
We got a couple other people commenting about Bracket Buster, very comfortable up front. Here we go. John Piasek. At least it's better than it used to be. You used to not be able to bet on Palm Sunday either.
Well, that's silly.
That doesn't seem right.
Another Catholic, I'm telling you.
Doesn't seem right.
There's a lot of the Catholics roaming around New York making the rules.
Yeah.
Maybe the new Pope can do something about that.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
There you go.
We got 438 problems in horse racing, but if the Pope comes down and opens up Easter racing for your dad on NYRA Bets,
we are saved.
We can make a call, though.
Make a call. All right, look, we're going to show this is still the replay of the Pegasus Stakes. The next race coming up is race 9. It is the Monmouth Stakes. Looks like it's going to be on the turf. A very
terrific.
Soggy turf.
It'll be yielding. Can we call it yielding?
Yielding.
What are they calling it?
They're calling it good.
Okay.
I think it's
I'll
great.
go yielding.
We have another 1-5 favorite, and it's the 3 again. This time it's redistricting. It's Flavian Pratt again as well. Chad Brown. Anybody want to guess how many times Chad Brown has won this race? The Monmouth Stakes?
7.
Shh, this guy.
Is that right?
Cheating?
Way to
You saw
show
my
off.
notes?
Wow.
I didn't know that.
7.
That seemed like a solid answer.
7 times he's won this race, and they've all been since like 2017.
I didn't know that. He didn't, but that was a good guess.
That was
like
a
he's
good
basically
guess.
won like
That'll
7
be the
of the
last
last
thing
8
I'm right
runs.
about, as long as you want me to sit here.
7-time winner of this race.
He has 2 shots in here.
And well, he's got the 3. Does he have another one?
Wait to do your homework, Dan.
I thought he only had 1 Let me see. No, I think he's only
Was
got
that
1.
the other turf race? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the other turf race.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm
See, he told you
So
he was
I
only going to be
take-
right
I
about
take
one
that
thing.
back.
pretty wrong. Race 11's still on the turf. He's got 2. In this race,
He's got
he has 1.
redistricting, the 3. But this is an interesting race. Sugar Horse, Signator, we talked about. That last race, the cliffhanger, watch that replay.
That's who I like.
It's an interesting
That's who I like,
replay.
too.
Yeah, so there's good. He was the favorite in that race, right? Or at least close to one of the favorites. I think Signator makes the most sense here. Obviously, now that we met Lindsay Schultz, trains the 8 horse, highest distinction.
She just won.
She won a race too. Yeah.
Listening before.
So
10 strike or
10
This
strike.
one-
Yeah.
this one is
This one is not.
Is not a 10
Shout out
strike.
Marshall
but
Graham.
Marshall's the
Am I the
best.
only one that didn't know Lindsay Schultz and 10 strike were like together?
The only I mean, not
Yeah.
together, but
We're in horse racing, Dan.
the only part. Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew that, but me and Jessica,
We pay attention to.
you're watching the Mets.
To be fair, there are a lot of 10 strike horses at parks with Carlos Guerrero, so I see the Silks a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'll give you a pass on
You have an
this.
unfair advantage.
Oh yeah, that's me, just full of unfair advantages
did I know?
out there.
Unfair advantage. Yeah, I don't. Well, you have problems. I mean, you just. You know way more than you should.
Marshall is one of the sharpest guys out there, though. That's and I think that is a real testament to what a gifted horsewoman Lindsay is. That Marshall really saw that and supported her.
That's awesome. We do have 3 scratches here. The 1 Kingsman is out. The 5 Masterpiece is out, and the 9 was main tracked only. Brooklyn Guy, which I was kind of hoping ran, just so I could mess around with that a little bit. But so we're left with 6 horses. Mark, who do you got?
I'll take the 7.
Just 7? Yeah. I mean, you want to give us an
The 3 should
exacta,
probably-
trifecta,
The 3 should
superfecta?
probably win this race, right? I thought this was going to be one of Chad's. How do I say it? One of his sheriffs in the barn when he raced down at Del Mar back in November of 2024, and he's run okay the last 2. Losing a length and a half to Spirit of St. Louis, who came back and won the Pegasus, won the Turf Classic, won the Pegasus World Cup turf before that,
And then lost the other day.
Lost the other day, but it wasn't his
Remember when I
race.
used him?
Yeah, instead of
that ticket?
deterministic. I don't even want to get into
This is
that.
another ticket we got to talk about.
But this horse is running against much better horses. Is he going to like this surface to take 1-5? That was kind of my issue with Chad's horse in the last race, being sloppy down on the inside, going 2 turns. Garamon's got a lot of talent, but you start to throw in some of these factors. It's kind of like, what price are you going to take?
Well, so that's an interesting question, right? Value, I think, is such a subjective sort of thing. And I think when people are new to handicapping, they think value just means a big price. But it's a very different thing. Value is, what are you willing to take on that horse?
Probably one of the biggest, I don't know, I wouldn't say I try to teach people, but when you sign up for GiddyUpBets.com, it's kind of like a newsletter that's free during the week. And then on the weekends, you pay dues, and I'll send you a grid who I kind of like. Just recently started a podcast with Chantel Sutherland, who I think might be joining us in a little bit. I know she had a few mounts today, but I know she's excited to coming on.
Finished third a few races ago.
Finished third a couple of races ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a couple mounts every day. She's got a couple of winners. She'll give you your whole story. She's got a lot going on, and she's doing a really good job. But getting back to what you were saying, value is when you think a horse should be 2-1, and it is. I should say this. If a horse is at 2-1 and you feel that it should be 3-5, that's value.
Sure.
A lot of people just think that Dan's kind of in this group a little bit. He's like, it's a lot of value at this horse at 15-1. I'm like, yeah, Dan, he could be 100.
Yeah, it's only value if you think they can win.
If you think the horse needs to have a chance at winning, but redistricting at 1-5.
Must be fun to shop with.
Oh, I am. and to return things with. Both.
Marty would not say that.
No.
Dan's wife, Saints of West Orange.
That woman will see heaven.
Saint of West Orange.
No, she will absolutely
Me and
see
Dan
heaven.
happen to live in the same
That woman
town.
will leave him?
No, I said she'll see heaven.
Oh, I think you said that woman will leave him.
She hasn't left you
Jesus.
yet. No.
Jesus Christ.
Before we've hit on heaven, Easter, Dan being left at the altar.
Good Lord. I thought you
We're
guys are
5
my
minutes
friends. Like, what are we doing here? And by the way,
I love you. She was the one that was on. She was on you.
Wait, what? What does that mean? This is my sister in the comments? What is she doing there? Wait, should I
Family affair.
Should I put this comment up?
Is she also
wow.
upset that she can't bet on Easter? Ask her.
Am I allowed to put that quote up?
I mean,
No, probably not. Shouldn't put that. Chucky also said that I should have had Amira's horse yesterday at Belmont because I talked to her for 15 minutes the other day. But I mean, look, if I bet based on that, I mean, I'd be betting 7 horses a race, and I'd be very broke.
Well, how do you come up with a long shot?
How do I come up with a long shot?
I just feel this is kind of like
Generally,
you need to have a bad favorite,
yeah.
vulnerable favorite.
vulnerable favorite.
And for me, my typical handicapping is parks 3 days a week, right? And I have a very unique perspective watching the races through binoculars. So I find long shots with the things that I can see through my binoculars that maybe not everyone else sees, and things that don't necessarily make the chart that I think I see.
And that's the biggest way to find
and
long shots.
that's how I found an $80 horse a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
The numbers are out there, but you need to find
At Parks or
I did,
elsewhere?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
you need to find a vulnerable favorite, and you need to find a horse that's going to improve, that's young, that hasn't done something before. Trip notes, like you're looking, like saying your eyes. The numbers are out there. Like Marshall Graham he's got speed figures.
Yeah.
Everybody the numbers are out there. So you have to use your eyes.
He's
You
also
have to
like
trust
a
your process.
professor. He's like a numbers.
So much
time.
smarter than
Yeah,
us.
yeah. By the way,
I wouldn't go so much.
No, he's so
Dan's
much,
pretty smart.
I wouldn't think.
He's so much smarter than us. Yeah.
Dan's pretty smart.
I said what I said. I'm including myself in that.
I'm glad you were offended for me, though.
The interesting thing with handicapping, right, is that you can find the same horse in 2 very different paths. Like, I'm not a numbers person at all. I'm a horse person. And yet you and I can probably find the same horse just with 2 different ways of getting there.
Absolutely. This game is, what I love about it so much is that I don't find there's no more value in horse racing than in any other sport. Even with a lot of the obstacles that are kind of going on within the sport, some of the computer wagering that's going on, I'm still finding value. Like, I'm still having success today than I was 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. If you do the work. Just got to giddy up.
You just got to giddy up. Look at
So
that.
This race.
How much you pay that guy?
How many minutes do we have?
Just a few.
Wait,
He's a fan.
Wait, before we talk about that, we have confirmation that Julie Tordjman is actually Max. He's signed in under. This is actually Julie is also my grandmother's
Your
name.
father signed in as under your grandmother's
It's amazing.
Because he does my grandmother's taxes as well.
Does my taxes
and does
too.
paperwork.
Yep,
and
yep.
so
Big tax
basically, I mean, yeah, my grandmother hasn't worked in quite a while, but like does all sorts of paperwork for her.
What a family affair this is. This is
he
so
does,
nice.
But this also speaks to like a trait that I have, which is that like he takes on like a lot of random things.
Sure.
And so it is him now. Now, Mark, do you want to talk about the Easter conversation again? For now that he's actually watching. No, we shouldn't. I'm totally kidding. We're not going to do that. We did talk about betting on Easter.
I do like a horse in this race. If anyone,
Yeah.
if anyone
Wants a
cares.
handicap.
I'm involved.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Dan's on a religious
Before
kick.
they
I
get
don't know.
into the gate, I do
Let's
think
bet.
number 6 Otago offers, as we were talking about, a little bit of value here coming in. 2 really good races. Axel Concepcion riding really well right now, and I think extremely highly of Kelsey Danner. I think Kelsey is as good as absolutely anybody, especially with these turf types. I loved this horse's turn of foot in his last race, and I think he probably gets a similar pace setup here because he doesn't need to be too far off the pace.
But you were on Signator though, right?
I'm going with both of them.
Okay, and I just want to make sure. But you don't
That's an
like
exacta, Dan.
that one. No. Did we lose this TV? Is this TV out? This TV is not on here. The race TV. I mean, we don't need it right now. I'm just saying it's just.
I
It's
was
out for the
here
moment.
when Otago won last time. That was Memorial Day Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
I was sitting and standing next to the connections, and they were pointing to that race and this race coming up. So they have the horse in peak form. So this horse definitely has a chance. I thought it was a little interesting in the race. I like Signator at the price. The Chad Brown horse is going to be tough, but Dan knows this. I always start the race with who's the speed, and I
4.
think the 4 is Lone
Pick.
Speed.
4 is my pick.
Is it?
15-1.
All right.
That's my pick. I'm 4-7 in this race. And I also thought Kingsman, before he scratched, was going to be a serious player. I was 4-7-1, 4-1-7. But I'm 4-7. I mean, 4 is going to be alone in the lead. I mean, it's as simple as that. And
The 3 is
I mean, I
going
think
to
that's
hit
going to be
board.
the plan. I think
three
that's
is
going to
gonna
be the plan.
yeah, well, he will be. No, he will. Like whether he stays there,
Sure.
I don't know. I'm going to bet 4-7. I'm going to get on the phone here. Bet 4-7. Where's my bet? Oh, there it is.
I'm going to go 3-4.
Here's your bet.
I'm
It's
gonna
the
go 3-4-7.
first thing that pops up on your phone.
I'm just doing a $10 Exacta-Box 4-7. Hold on. But I like your 6 too. The only with the 6 and also the 3, like just watching a couple of their replays, I don't know that they really like a mile and an eighth is best for them.
Sure.
That's all. But I agree with you. Otago visually, I think, is in spectacular form and all that. So, all right, I'm betting 4-7. We'll see what happens. No, wait. Oh, I'm in the wrong race here. That's why the odds aren't.
Don't mess this up, Dan. Your dad's watching.
Let's see. Did you bet on this race already, or are you sitting this one
did.
out? No, Jessica.
I'm going to bet on this one now.
Okay. Just want to make sure you don't miss out on any action. Yeah, maybe I'll just do one ticket with the. Well, I can't use the 3, right? 3-4.
I'll ask you this. What are the chances of 2 1-to-5 shot Chad Brown horses running off the board back-to-back races?
That's why they run the races.
It's very true. I
I
trust
mean,
this one a little bit more than I do the last one, I think, though.
I think the last one really despised getting mud kicked back in his face.
That's tough.
I thought the
First
horse was
time
going to be on
turns.
the lead. That horse was like just not in the
No,
lead.
there was other speed in the race. It was kind of one of those horses good, but anything could happen. That's why they run the race, Dan.
SPN.
I'm also going to throw Lindsay Schultz's horse in there in a trifecta.
Oh yeah, we kind of forgot about that one. 15-1.
No, Dan, you did.
I
We
did.
did not.
I did.
Horse just missed Otago last time, and I thought it sat a little bit wider than that horse. It was right there.
So Sean Patrick Nolan said he's betting redistricting to show just to say he can cash the ticket, which actually is exactly something my dad would say, that he's betting a 1-to-5 to show just so he could cash a ticket.
SPN's
So,
the best.
SPN clearly having a tough Saturday so far.
Aren't we all?
Hey, come on. I thought you were having fun here. Come on. We do get to do this once a year
This
together.
is a great way to spend the day.
All right.
This.
Well, that's good to hear.
Oh, look, there are bubbles.
Hey, where are those coming from? Guys, I have another.
Somebody must have hit us a bet. Celebration.
I think I'm going to take a break. I need to take a bathroom break at some point. I'm just letting you know. Like I'm not.
Thanks for sharing. Good job.
I'm not taking.
This is your show, Dan.
Are you asking
if
for
you want a
permission?
break,
Like, I just
We
gotta-
can probably handle it.
it's just gonna take 2 minutes, but I gotta run. I
you
gotta.
want me to go with you? Is that what
I
you were
mean,
asking?
no. Let's
I'd rather
watch,
not.
Let's
but
watch
if you
this
want
race
to.
first.
Good
After
idea.
this race, I'm gonna go, but just be prepared. I'm gonna like literally. I just have to go run to the bathroom real quick, and I'll come back. Do you guys want anything else? You need another drink while you get on the water. Do you need a drink?
I'll take a drink.
What do you want to
Chantel
drink?
Sutherland says she's going to join us too, if that's okay.
How long? When?
Probably the next 10, 15 minutes. I have a weird feeling. I think she just rode a few races, so she's probably going to like take the mud off of her.
Yeah.
Like you did this morning after you were messing around in your yard.
Oh my God.
Were you doing rugged
I'm talking
things?
about my yard. No, like I'm just like I'm
Hired
just.
the
didn't
wrong
think
tree
you were
guy.
doing
Tell her about
rugged
the tree guy.
things.
We'll talk about the tree guy. This race is coming up. This is the Monmouth Stakes. It's a setup race for the United Nations. So horses out of here are going to come back for the United Nations.
Remember Precious Passion? The coolest United Nations winner ever.
Oh, Precious Passion. Yeah.
That's the horse I always think of when I think of the United Nations.
I think of Graham's horse that Rajiv rode. What was that horse's name? Remember, Rajiv rode the horse in UN like at like 15 to 1, 10 to 1, like 2014
But the horse
maybe.
that went, who was the horse that went wire to wire?
That was Precious Passion.
Was it
Yeah.
Precious Passion?
In the Generazio Silks.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat, tell me who the motion Rajiv horse was from like 10 years ago. Ran in a bunch of big races. Do we
We're
have the
ready to
sound
go.
of this? All right, yeah, we do have the sound. All right, after this, remember, I'm going to the bathroom. All right.
And we're off in the Monmouth Stakes. Redistricting from the inside offensive-minded as a narrow lead on Izzy D'Oro as they make their way towards out of the chute here. It's going to be redistricting with Izzy D'Oro and highest distinction who sets up shop 3 wide. Redistricting, taking it to him from the onset here. Leads 3 parts of a length from Izzy
Four is
D'Oro
not on the
second.
lead.
Highest distinction 3 deep. Otago right behind.
What did I tell you,
Brown
Dan?
must have been like, don't mess around, just go right to the front.
This is the back.
And Dan did not bet you, put you in his exact.
I
so
think
just
you
go
have to
right
be
to the front.
fast to have the lead.
Who's my jock? I don't even know who's on the 4.
Gabriel Maldonado.
Izzy D'Oro bows away in second.
Gabriel Maldonado.
Stalking and happy to do so. Otago a little bit keen on a hold.
good.
Joining that
Doing the other
rival
day.
half
Yeah, he's
length back
great.
in highest distinction, who's still
Why
parked
is he
wide.
Got a stranglehold on him.
3 lengths
Yeah,
off to lead the
we have a
gray.
1 to
with
5
Three is nice and
that just did a
comfortable.
half in
United
50
States
seconds.
debut down the back.
No
49 and
pressure,
1,
though.
Dan.
Redistricting. And a good gallop
25
here.
and
Needs a half
49 and
length.
1?
Izzy D'Oro second, highest distinction. Still
It's a
there
little
on the
soft, too,
outside,
so it's
a little
gonna-
bit closer.
Lindsay's
Comes
horse.
Doing it
Otago.
comfortably, as you like to say. The 4's down in the middle.
Half length to Signature.
Six is-
And at last,
Six
horses got the right
past them all
spot.
Yep.
half
For
miles.
sure.
It's only 4
Cooked.
lengths behind.
Yeah.
This is
They
3
were
Yeah, no,
six.
Dan,
the
he
four-
just
the only way the
wasn't.
four
He's
was gonna
just.
win.
He's not a stakes horse, I don't think.
No, we need the 7 to win here.
Second, Izzy D'Oro
This is
calls it an
3-7 to the
afternoon.
wire, maybe
Otago
6
waiting on the
third.
inside. He has horse. Signators come under a hard ride at last, taking
Your
fifth,
Otago
but
might
really needs to
get
pick it up. Top of the
second.
lane. Redistricting,
They're not catching
getting
this
away
three.
to a
Nope.
2-length
They're not
lead.
catching this
Otago
three.
switching outside to try to run him down. It's these two 1-2 with 1 furlong to go.
Just trying.
Redistricting, asked to
3-6-2
finish.
is
He's
your
got
check.
plenty for the final furlong here, and is a nice kick as he opens up 3 on the good going on the grass today. It's going to be redistricting, a dominant
Yeah, I
winner
mean,
in the
come
Monmouth
on.
Stakes. Otago
But
was
those are the
second.
horses I
At
feel like,
last, third
you know, you
photo
either
for
have to go
Signature,
all in
highest
and commit and
distinction.
single, or try to beat them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, the race was over after a quarter of a mile, really. I mean, that horse got to the front, got loose, no pressure, was already the best horse in
Galloped
the
out
race.
big. He's just running against superior horses.
Yeah.
You know, this is an okay field, but this horse is a grade 1 horse, right?
All right. Wait, what do you want to drink?
Are you buying?
Yeah, I'm buying.
Whatever you're having, Dan.
I'm drinking these things.
Sure.
You just want water? Or you don't need anything?
I have coffee, I have water,
you have a
I'm
lot
good.
of liquid. Okay. You guys talk about the podcast.
Let's talk about the podcast.
Talk about the podcast. I'll be back.
A podcast, something new in racing.
I've turned down so many podcasts. I don't want to. It's
I'm just teasing you.
Chantel came to me and said, let's do a podcast. And I wanted it to be something that's a little different because I'm not going to go sit through the racing form and go, and the number 1
Oh man, that's
is
one of my
trained by
biggest pet
Chad
peeves.
Brown.
Like I like to
And then
listen
just-
to a
and then
podcast. I do not want to listen
Yeah.
to someone just like be like, I like
And there's
the
a pl-
4.
there's a place for it.
Sure, if-
You know,
sure.
like some of my dad's friends, some of the guys, like, you know, we're in a world now where there's like people aren't going to the racetrack as much. You know, there are no more OTBs. A lot of these podcasts and communities on Twitter and things have kind of turned into what the OTB used to be. With, you know, this place, you know, there's a lot of people here today, but
I would prefer an OTB to horse racing Twitter. To be
Yeah,
perfectly
well,
honest, they were
that's-
nicer to me.
I feel horse racing Twitter is very similar to an OTB. When I used to walk into the OTB in Sutherland, there were 3 rooms. And in the first room, I did not want to sit in or be around those guys. And they would sit there and smoke cigarettes and curse and just not be nice to people. And then if you went into the second room, that's was a better crowd, and I had a good time there and everything else. And then in the third room, people were more paying attention to the races, having fun, having a good time. I was learning things. And that's kind of the room you want to be in, but it's a little tougher on horse racing Twitter, right?
I will respectfully disagree with this because I have never been in an environment in an OTB or a racetrack where people would say the things to my face that they have said to me on Twitter.
Well, that's fair.
It's a totally different...
People like to be tough, and that's not the case.
Well, back to your podcast.
Okay.
Tell me what
you want to bring Chantel in?
Yeah.
She's gonna talk and everything.
Let's do it. Dan will be back.
Talker and a good jockey at the same time.
I'm the best.
Get it right over here, and we can get into it.
Yeah, and Dan will be back
too,
at some point.
Chantel.
How are you?
I'm Chantel. Jess, nice to meet you.
Sit on down.
How's it going?
Great.
Of course. Fine.
And now joined the Jill of all trades, Chantel Sutherland, jockey, podcast, a lot of things going on this summer for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back in the scene and just, have fun, and just really happy to be kind of riding again.
What did you miss most about being out on the racetrack riding?
Kind of today, or just in general?
In general.
I just love the horses and the competition. And just winning again, and it's just such a cool feeling.
Sure. So there's a podcast.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. What makes it different?
Well, we're kind of trying to determine that ourselves, but we've had a lot of feedback, and it's been positive. But I think we need to add stuff like, I think people are interested in not only the handicapping part of it, but I think they're interested in, what we do, what our lives like, what's it like to be an insider in the track. For people who aren't on the track, what do I do? How do I prep for a race? Maybe what do I eat? Who do I hang out with?
I just remember a couple years ago, we were at the sales in Saratoga, right?
Yeah.
And I remember you were just like, we should do a podcast. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do a podcast, but I don't want to do one like the norm.
Yeah.
So I felt like we're going to do something that's going to be quick, and it's going to merge inside the mind, inside the brain of a jockey, inside the brain of a horse player, kind of merge that together.
Awesome.
So like we did our first one the other day, and we went over the Belmont Stakes kind of weekend, and she kind of gave her eyes on what she saw from a jockey's perspective, and I did from a horse player's perspective. And I just know that a lot of people that follow me on Giddy Up Bets, that's something that they're looking for. They're looking for, I always say, like the 2 most valuable commodities in life are time and information. So if we can save people time and provide them with good information to bet on the horses, train the horses, own the horses, for her riding the horses, and she's got a ton of experience. She's got, you have a ton of experience. Like she was just in Dubai. Like go over what over the last couple of years. I know we went over it in the podcast, but you got a lot going on. Like you were just in Dubai, right?
Yeah, Dubai was amazing, and I think what we like is we feed off each other really well. We love to talk about racing. We're both obsessed with it, and it's a huge passion for both of us. And if you were to hang out with us, this is what we would talk about. And so he went to Dubai. We talked about it, and you said I would like it. And I did. I loved it.
What was your favorite part?
Wow, it was so futuristic and beautiful. And the jocks from Malone I felt like I was in the NHL. Like it was like, I feel like a real athlete now.
What
did it look like in there? What
are some differences?
Okay, so when you walk in, it's massive, and it's all like this lush, beautiful green carpet. And the walls all have like quotes and sayings, and there's little booths that you can sit in, TVs everywhere, massive. And then it's got its own workout room, and then you go back and it's got buffet jockeys don't eat, but I was like, it was beautiful. And like everyone you can eat whatever you want, drinks, and then non-alcoholic. And then my own room, I have a beautiful sauna, like the spa, and gorgeous showers, like the spa. And
It's just like Monmouth.
Exactly. Yeah, just like Monmouth.
It's kind of the racetrack in Dubai, Meydan, right? Am I
Yeah,
saying that
Meydan.
right?
It's beautiful.
Is kind of just like a flip on the whole city itself, where it's futuristic. They put a lot of money into it. It's newer. You know, the United States is getting there. We're building a new racetrack in New York. I don't know if you've heard, Dan, but Belmont 2027 Breeders' Cup and Belmont Stakes will be
About
there.
that Easter betting, though.
As long as the
What does Chantel think about the Easter betting rule? Did you know about this?
What?
That you can't bet on horses on Easter Sunday in New York. Well, you could bet in casinos. You could bet everywhere.
Can't bet on horses on Easter
Dan's
Sunday.
dad has been on this whole kick that you're not allowed to
it's a
bet
long
on
time
horses.
I think that's right.
In New York.
In New York on Easter Sunday.
On Easter.
On Easter.
But you could bet at casinos. You go to the casino.
You can't bet on anything in Dubai. I was like,
Well,
so my brother came with me to Dubai, and he's like, okay, I'm here to watch your race. This is great. And I actually took him to Saudi Arabia. And
Oh,
he goes,
God, even
okay,
worse.
so I can't drink
Yeah.
and I can't bet. Why am I here?
Yeah, exactly.
This is horse racing. And I'm like, wow, it's Saudi
We're in it for
Arabia.
the sport. Like we
Yeah,
are.
we're here. We win.
Yeah.
But no, it was, anyway. You got to be able to bet. We're out of a job.
Here, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Well, I'd be out of a job. Dan would probably have a lot more money.
Yeah, I would. I would absolutely do it. So my earpiece went out for a second, though, so I didn't hear the end of what you said. But I was going to say, by the way, this is your first time on this show with us.
Yes.
We've talked with you before. We keep things fairly loose here. I just got a pretzel. Would you like some pretzel?
Yeah, I'd be out of a job if I ate that, for sure.
I mean, you're just coming off of
So how
riding
difficult
races.
is weight for you?
Well, it's
I mean, as women, as we get older, it doesn't get easier, right?
look, I'm not getting any older. You're not getting
Okay,
older.
well,
How gorgeous.
I sure am. I don't know
you're
about
like
you,
a fine
but
wine. You're
I am-
getting better looking, more sexy.
Your
Are
check,
you
your
nuts?
check is in the mail, but
Yeah.
but there are things we just don't. Not everything bounces back quite as well as it did.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't bounce at all anymore. Here's
Like on the sheets, bounce?
Just kidding. Sorry.
You guys have a good pattern going on the sheets. I thought both of you do.
No, I mean, it's a
You are
full-time
a
job
magnificent
working out,
creature.
staying
You are
skinny.
Yes. I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't know anything about that.
I gotta run a lot. I gotta work out a lot. I eat super healthy, but I eat super healthy anyway. And then I wouldn't want to get fat anyway, because then, men, they don't really like. Well,
We are not doing anything for the male gaze in 2025. I don't care what the men think.
exactly. Who wants one anyways? The older you get, you're like, they're more of a pain in the butt anyway. Just kidding.
Saying that about women for years now. So I don't know. You guys are just catching up,
Maybe.
right?
I'm tired of doing someone else's laundry. That's it. Do your own.
How did the day go today? You had a good third.
Today, wow.
Sloppy. How was the track?
Are you going to throw
The
it
track,
on me
the
now,
turf
too?
wasn't bad. It was pretty good. We should have left
We
it
went
on.
over this on the podcast.
Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah.
sloppy seal track, taking dirt in the face.
I took a lot of dirt today.
Yes.
And the one that was third, the gray,
Yes.
we took a lot. It was sloppy, not that great. The two horses that were third ran okay. The one, Ripton's Music on the grass, he does not like grass. I don't even know why we're running on grass. He was switching his leads. He was uncomfortable, went on a turn, came off the bridle.
Race 3?
Yep.
Yes.
The one that I love, the one that I've been getting on. So
Play back on the dirt.
we're going back on the dirt. Yeah. And that I really like him for the dirt. So
Writing this down, Dan.
yeah.
You asked me for playback.
This
Okay.
is this horse is training so good. And when he trains on the dirt, he works unbelievable. And then when I rode him today for the first time on the turf, he just kept switching his leads. He was it was like he was on ice. He was not secure when he went on the turn. He was like, wow.
Because it just started raining then too, right? So the
Yeah.
grass is going to be
It
a
was
little slick.
fine.
Sometimes
It was
horses are afraid
good.
to kind of slip
Yeah.
off, right?
And the grass here is really thick and lush, and it's good. It's not like Gulfstream where it could get slippery. They're fine.
But some horses just when they don't like it, you
They
can
don't
feel
like it. Yeah.
You can feel
Same
it.
with Tapeta. They can do that too. They feel like they're skating. You feel like you're on Bambi.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that it's sort of like human beings? I guess because I can't ski or skate or
I'm
any of that
shocked by
stuff.
this.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Right? It's like, but I could run. I'm actually deceptively fast.
You want to race?
So,
Oh, really? Let's have a race.
Let's have a race.
Relative
You
to
and Mark.
who?
Right?
You're fast relative to who?
I'll push the button out of the gate.
I'll keep my
I'm not
heels
saying
on.
I
I'll
would
give
beat
you
you in a race, but for you to come out
advantage.
there and just say you're fast,
No, I am deceptively
like you're some
fast.
type of horse.
No, like
I
here's the
wouldn't
thing,
go
like,
that far. Your
We
buyer
kinda
figure is like 4.
I think by like sort of like normal like standards, I'm not fast. But for somebody my size and my age, like I'm fast.
Dude,
he's
you're in like the
massive.
prime of your life.
Oh my
This
God.
is as good as it's getting.
You're not that big or that old.
Oh yeah.
So what are we relative
No, like
to?
42-year-old man, 200 pounds. I'm pretty fast for that.
I bet you if you went against all the jockeys, you would be very fast.
Oh yeah? Are they
Yeah.
actually slow?
Well, they're
Are
small.
most of them slow?
They're pretty small.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Beat him
pretty
in,
big.
you would beat him in.
Would you beat me?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Really?
No, I can
Yes.
go. I can go the distance. I'm not
Yeah,
very
I'm
fast.
a long distance
But
type.
I
I'm
might
not-
be able to play
I'm not
golf
fast.
against you.
You're a marathoner,
I
right?
suck
Yeah.
at golf, so you
All right,
probably
I got you in the
got me.
golf.
So back to the
yeah, go ahead,
back to the what we were talking about the surfaces feeling differently underneath you. Like in horse show land, we also there are different types of footing, and there's one that is it's not tapeta, but it's as close to it as I've felt, and then there's GGT, which is like a synthetic textile blend, and it is interesting the way some of them the GGT gets slick.
Yeah.
If it takes too much rain, it feels very slippery underneath you.
Sure, and also with horse racing, you can't wear toe grabs on the turf, and a toe grab would be like a soccer cleat, a shoe.
So I was
It's like a
explaining that
turn
to
down
Dan.
on a hook.
We put studs when
Yeah,
we horse show
that
on the
would be
grass.
fun. I wish I had those today. That would have helped. But instead, but that would tear up the turf course. But
And be dangerous
horses
and
would love
be
it.
very
You're not allowed to do
dangerous.
that on any day, or
Any
that's-
day.
okay.
Well, putting studs on them would be too dangerous. Just if anyone kind of grabbed someone else, they have weapons on their feet, so and they can grab themselves a little too easily with studs, and that would not be safe at all at the speed that they go. But in horse show land, like when I horse show on the grass,
For sure.
we put studs in.
And it makes it, you can feel the difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
Speaking of safety, we were talking earlier about the sovereignty of the journalism trip at the Preakness and kind of what that was like. Have you been in situations like that? And also, I'm kind of wondering, how do you decide if you're going to do something like that? If you're going to actually
Are you talking about the one where journalism bumps Flavia
like
Pratt?
we're like in this tight spot. You're like, I better not, or whatever. Is it just sort of the gravity of the race?
I was in a race in Dubai, actually, and my horse is getting tired, so I drifted out a little bit, and there's a spot behind me for one horse maybe, and 2 jockeys were fighting for it, and Connor Beasley went for it, and he just pushed me out of the way. And when he did, I turned sideways, and I tried to correct my horse. My horse was tired, and I was all over the place. So that kind of was a disaster race for me, and I got, days for careless riding. And we went in the steward's office, and I'm like, Connor, you turned me sideways. It's not my fault. We don't get along, but that's okay. But
Was it based on that you don't get along, or did you not get along before that?
I don't really know
We're
him. He was
gossiping.
new. And
I like this.
he's a really nice guy,
Yeah.
I think, but he's got a short fuse.
Okay.
I don't know
He
him
kinda
is my
scared me in
favorite
there
answer.
in the steward's office. I sat down and I just was quiet, and I was like, I hope he doesn't hit me. It was a little scary, but anyways, I got
these are
days.
good. Like these stories are like great. Like for the podcast that you're doing, these are the moments you got to clip
Yeah.
out, right? And you got to put on social and all the rest of it.
We talked about this on episode 1, Dan. Thanks for listening.
No, these oh, did you really?
No,
My bad.
we had touched upon it.
No, not this particular interaction. Just I'm just saying generally, that kind of stuff. Like that's good stuff, right? I mean, that kind of
and
insight.
I'll tell you another thing. We were in the steward's office, and there's in the same race. There's another incident where a jockey wanted to go to the lead, so I let him, and then he wanted to pull back and go head and head, so I took the lead, and then so we were going back and forth. Finally, I made it tight on him a little bit, which I do here all the time, and nothing ever happens. But they told me I was too aggressive. You have to be very careful in Dubai. Like you cannot intimidate. You got to straight. So anyway, we had a conversation about that in the steward's office. I got in a lot of trouble in Dubai. But I think I was just...
They are very strict.
They're the Australian steward, Sam. Oof.
Do this.
Going back to your question
hold on 1 second for me if you could, because I have Matt Dinnerman upstairs in the announcer's booth.
We're ready to go.
Just because he has he has to announce the horses coming out in a second.
Okay.
All right. So Matt, a couple of us could hear you here. Chantel can't. Can you hang out for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Or you got to go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Sure, and I can do the post parade, and then after the post parade, I can come back. I'm good. Right?
Well, first of all, how you doing up there? How are things going? How's your day going?
We're having a great time. Dad's here for Father's Day. He's here. A couple of my buddies are up here. we are having a party, and it's great. We're having a great day.
You have any questions for him?
Not
at the moment.
Sorry, the hamster entirely fell off the wheel.
So the Salvatore Mile is coming up next. First of all, these last couple of races were a little wild. First, we had a beaten favorite. The last race, we kind of just saw her go to the lead, who was supposed to win and held on. What do you think we got for the back half here of the Haskell Preview Day?
Well, it sure looks like, on the dirt track, and we've got 2 of the 3 remaining races are on the dirt. It looks like the speed is really holding well today. So that's going to really set things up here, I think, for Bishop's Bay with the way the track profile is. And in terms of turf racing, I really like 5 towns in the Eatontown, which is race number 11. I think this Graham Motion filly has a good shot to win. I've always thought that she'd be really good in these Monmouth Stakes, and that's where Graham's putting her, nominated for a bunch of them last year. So it'll be exciting. Always a fun day when we have a day like this. And, of course, Bracket Buster kicking things off the stakes action with a big win, and hopefully we see him back here for the Haskell. Then, of course, redistricting, obviously very talented horse, and bigger and better things for him to come. But I do think a Colt and Bishop's Bay are going to be tough in their respective races, but I'm going with 5 towns in the Eatontown. So that's sort of my opinions handicapping-wise.
So let's give folks a little bit of a behind the microphone up there in the booth. On a day like this that is pretty rainy, does it alter the way you prep in any way? And what is your prep for a race call? What does that look like? Do you color?
So I do not color.
I know it's a weird thing for adults to ask each other, but I color.
Yeah.
Do you color?
Do you color in between the lines or what? Yeah.
Do you use markers or crayons or colored pencils? These are the questions we ask.
For sure. I mean, that's what, we're fun people. We like to have fun up here at the announcer's booth. And coloring, what Jessica's referring to is, people coloring in silks of the horses. That helps them memorize, retain the horses, because we are looking at the silk. I do not color in. I tried it, couldn't draw.
How does it feel to be superior to all of us?
Definitely not superior. If you listen hard enough, you'll hear plenty of mistakes. But I am definitely not superior in the art department when it comes to coloring or painting. I couldn't draw a stick figure.
I am amazed by the announcers that don't color. I know Pete doesn't either, and it's such the way my brain works. It's such an important part of it. It's so fascinating that everyone's brain retains in such a different way.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, just thinking about the different ways that we're able to do things, and there's no wrong way to do it. It's just whatever works for you best to memorize these horses. And I'm just very much a visual learner, and I think I tried maybe 2 horses doing it when I was practicing, and I said, what the heck with this? This isn't working. But I did find a bunch of colored crayons in the Golden Gate announcer's booth when I first got there, because Frank Miramati left 10 of them, and they were all just hidden in different places. So
I have colored pencils strewn
crayons
throughout
and
my
pizza
book.
boxes he left up there.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
And cereal boxes as well.
And cereal boxes. Okay. So wait, it's 8 minutes to post now. What is your process? So 8 minutes to post, you got to do what? 6 minutes to post, you got to do what? What does your mental sort of clock tell you got to do at each milestone?
Yeah. So I mean, as you asked about the memorizing, I read the form just like anybody else. I'm not trying to pick a winner necessarily unless I'm going on air, sometimes for fun, but because I go on air at these tracks, I typically do. But it also is a good way to start sort of memorizing those horses, and I'm not memorizing like I would when they're coming onto the track now, but it's a good way to start out that process and get those horses, some of them in your head. Now they're coming on the track, so I'm about to make a little announcement here, do the post parade, and while they're in the post parade, that's when I really start digging in and looking at the silks. Once I do that, after the post parade, I usually took 2 or 3 minutes off, and that really helps, because if you take off, it's like studying for a test. If you study for it beforehand, the evening before, you're going to come back the next day, and you're going to be able to retain that information. I got to do the post parade, so I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, let us be quiet. We'll be quiet. We'll listen to this.
And the runners are now on the track for race number 10, the grade 3, $150,000 Salvatore Mile. Here's the field. Number 1 is Scratch. Number 2, BBN Racing's Trademark, trained by Vicky Oliver. Axel Concepcion riding today. Number 3, Rapoli Stables, Tuscan Sky, trained by Todd Pletcher. Frankie Pennington in the irons. Number 4 is Scratch. Number 5, Surface to Air, owned by Premier Stable, trained by Panagiotis Sinafias. Samuel Marin in the irons. Number 6 is Scratch. Number 7, Photos Finish LLC, Nelson Avenue, trained by Jorge Abreu. Sammy Camacho riding. Number 8 is Awesome Ruda, owned by TriStar Racing and Cimarron TTT Farms, conditioned by Dan Ward, Isaac Castillo, the rider. And number 9 is Bishop's Bay, owned in partnership by Spendthrift, Steve Landers, Barry Schwartz, Michael Dubbin Partners, Flavian Pratt teams up with trainer Brad Cox. 6 minutes to race 10. This is the 78th running of the Grade 3 Salvatore Mile, $150,000 guaranteed. For 3-year-olds and upward, going a mile, win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta wagering, daily double, and late pick 3 wagering, all offered in the 6 minutes. So that's how that runs down. I already looked at the horses on the screen there.
Great job.
Nice. You're getting a round of applause up here. So
That was a single on the grid type of job.
very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Jessica can probably attest we're very, very good at multitasking, us announcers. We learn to do it well.
Certainly have to, for sure. There are certain things that, like, little pet peeves, like when my phone in the booth rings, like, as I'm doing the post parade. Like, y'all can hear me talking. Why are you calling me now?
Yeah, right. That happens a lot more often than the general public would probably like to imagine.
From people within the building, like the call is coming from inside the house.
Oh, for sure. I remember there was one horse to go into the gate, and the security guard called and said, and he said,
directly to
I need
jail.
you
To jail.
Yeah, it was like, I want to put you in jail right now, because he was like, can you tell us that this guy's car alarm is going off? I'm like, there's no more horse going to the gate.
Oh,
man.
yeah. That's, to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Like, absolutely not.
For sure.
I need you to do one more time. The most impressive thing was the way you pronounced the trainer of the 5 horse, who I always see that guy's name in the program, and I'm like, I cannot pronounce this name. What is it?
Yeah, Panagiotis Sinophius. Yeah, so, and I got some, for lack of a better term, crap for that name pronunciation, because I said it a couple times wrong. And Steve Sassonis, who is our clerk of scales, great guy, but he's a Greek guy, and so is the Sinophius family. And he called me, he goes, this is how you say it. You got to say it right, or the Greek mafia is going to come after you. So I said, okay, fine. So now I have to say that name.
That's what to learn.
So I do think there should be, like, a database for all of us announcers where we put the correct spelling and or pronunciation of these, like the horses' names, the people names, just because sometimes, you know, you're really scrambling to find how to say it. I'll pull up replays if it's a horse that I'm really questionable about and see who called it last and be like, well, if they got it wrong, I'm just going to say it however they said it.
I wish that we did. Like, we have a little... I think you and I might be onto something there, Jessica. We got to figure out a way to have a database on the computer where we just type in, you know, how do you say this name?
That would involve our peers all working together.
For sure. And usually, sometimes I'll try to listen to our peers say a horse name, and 2 or 3 of them are all pronounced differently. And then sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to say it all in a different way, and then I got it right at least once.
I mean, there are certain calls where I wind up saying a horse's name differently 3 times in the call, too. The really tricky ones, there's one real nice filly that runs at Parks, Adelike. I think I say her name different every time it comes out of my mouth.
And it's amazing because you'll ask trainers and they'll say, you know, I'll say, how do you say this? And we don't know. We just say it this way. I don't care. How do you say it? You know? So
but then if you get it wrong.
You're always learning something new in this job, ladies and gentlemen that are tuning in. And Jessica can attest to that, and Dan, for that matter.
Well, that is the most fun thing about horse racing, right? Is that every day, every race is something entirely different. And I mean, it's never boring.
And that's what's fun about our job. I think the art of calling races is, like, there's always an infinite amount of things can happen. Infinite amount of things with all these different horses and scenarios. So to be able to call the race well, it's the art of being able to process what's going on, describe it using the right words, phrases, tone, emotion, all that stuff. And then when you feel you did that properly, it's a very satisfying thing. And that's where the art is.
It is the best feeling, but it's a craft or an art. And it is something that you're constantly improving kind of every race and every day, and, like, listening to your peers that you admire and listening to some that maybe you don't, and, like, picking things that you like from everywhere.
And that's how you create your own style. And it takes a long time to create your own style. But until you hang up the binoculars, so to speak, you're always trying to improve. And I feel like all of us, like, you have to have a certain mentality to do this specific position. And we're all sort of perfectionists in our own way. Like, we always are like, we could have done that a little better. We could have done this a little better.
All right, Matt, we're going to let you get back to work here. 2 minutes. The horses are getting close to the gate. Thank you for taking a few minutes with us, Matt.
Absolutely, guys. Good to see you. Have fun, and thanks for covering us. And it'll be a fun last 3 races here. So thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. So
Giddy up.
3 races to go. The Salvatore Mile is next. Exactly, minute and a half. 1 minute to post. Mark, what do you got?
We were just sitting over here looking at this race again, and I'm trying to find somebody to beat Bishop's Bay, but I just don't see it.
Nothing. Just Bishop's Bay.
Just looks faster, and he's in the right form. This is the right field. Seems like a good stepping stone to bigger and better in Grade 1 probably next time out. But this horse fought with Archangel a couple of years ago, and it's improving on the sheets. Looks like the one to beat at 1-2. Not giving you anything too creative.
Yes?
Single and move on.
Yeah. I like Nelson Avenue a little bit. I don't know if Nelson Avenue
Those are
can
going to
win.
be the 2 that'll be on the front end, right? So they'll go kind of go 1-2.
I thought Nelson Avenue might be...
Track's definitely favoring speed, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, yes.
Now, this is a Wayne Potts to
Ooh.
Jorge Abreu change, but Abreu 10 for 17 in the money, allowance to stakes, also massive numbers, first time in his barn. And this horse actually loves an off track. Biggest 101 buyer, 6 races back on an off track. Also won at Saratoga last year on an off track. Nelson Avenue is going to run a big race.
9-7.
Yeah, 9-7, 7-9.
The 2 seems out of form. The 3 is got backlash, but I don't think...
Trademark, you're right. The two. I feel like
Seems a
the
little
2
bit
two's sneaky.
Back. I think he's.
You don't think?
I think he's going a little backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think he's been bad. I just feel like
How do you really feel, Dan?
no, he's
that's
like he's
another
been
way of
bad.
saying
Like,
backwards.
I feel like he's not actually as bad as he looks on paper.
What's
Like,
wrong
he
with the
can't-
9-7 exacta?
Nothing. That's what I'm gonna do.
7-1.
That's what I'm gonna do. Chantel,
That's
any
plus-
thoughts?
Yeah,
On this?
no,
700.
I'm Bishop's Bay for me. Nelson Avenue looks good. Bishop's Bay proven in the mud, and the track is sloppy.
Those are the 2 that are going to be on the front end, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to find a way to like surface to air because I like to give the hometown horses, and I've called him a bunch of times.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
I don't think he's
Too
this
much.
is I don't think this is the day for him. Vitality, I think, is kind of a little bit interesting coming in out of that win. He is scratched. That's a lie. He was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little interesting. He fit on sheets, but
How about Tuscan Sky? Tuscan Sky.
did you ride?
Oh, that's the one that
Tuscan
Frankie
Sky at
Pennington
Saratoga
picks
last year?
up. I actually think that one's a bit interesting.
That's the 3 horse. Yeah.
For Todd? Todd.
He likes a wet track.
Yeah, and I think he won. What did he win last year here? He
Who do
won
you like
something here
Who do you
last
like
year.
in the next race?
Oh, you talking about doubles now? What do you-
Eatontown. Yeah, Eatontown.
Uh,
Because I like the
five-
motion horse.
I like five towns quite a
yeah.
bit,
I'm going to
yeah.
play the double 9-2, and I'm
One
going to
of
play
my
the
strong-
exacta 9-7.
One of my stronger opinions on the card
Yeah,
is that filly.
me too. I like the 2 5 towns.
They're keeping it on the grass, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
for now. Is it still raining? It's not. It's kind of stopped
The
raining. Right?
turf was good. Like, it took a lot of rain, but like I said, it's
Not terrible.
that
It's not
deep,
yielding?
thick- Nah, not really.
Saratoga last
No,
Saturday?
it can take a lot of water, this turf course. Saratoga can get really
Saratoga was yielding.
yielding. Yeah, it can feel, and it feels like you're like. in a
Dan brings the
swamp.
rain with him wherever he goes.
oh, come on.
Yeah,
My
that's not very nice.
Freakness.
Why did?
He was there. Rain.
Where were you
Belmont.
before? Where were you?
Where every stop I've taken, it's rain.
Rain.
Yeah.
You need to go to Dubai.
Little rain would rain.
They need it
Oh
there.
my God.
They should pay me to come out and bring the rain. Yeah.
'cause then they wouldn't have to, what is it called? The sky? When they did that one time?
And they make their own rain.
Not fracking the sky. What's it
Something
called?
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
They make their own rain.
They make their own rain.
They could
They
just hire
need
Dan.
Yeah.
Save them billions of dollars.
Yeah.
All they need is Dan.
Because they don't have enough money over there anyway.
People in the chat are not surprisingly on the 9, including my dad.
Ready to go. In the Salvatore Mile.
Here's Matt with the call.
Yep.
And NYRA. Tuscan Sky got squeezed a little bit coming out of there.
I don't think Tuscan Sky's where he wants to be.
Hard ridden.
Poorly.
All right, Nelson Avenue.
Dropped to the rear and just
Nelson
detached
Avenue is
from
not
rest.
on the
Tuscan
lead.
Sky
Wow.
as they
No,
go
he is,
into
right?
the
That's
first
him.
turn run here. Nelson Avenue clearing off on the lead.
Yep, there he
Bishop's
is, okay.
Bay stalking the pace early.
7-9,
second
perfect.
position away from
Go right
Trade
around.
Martin's on a stronghold, running in third now, more relaxed.
All
in
right,
that
chill,
third
Bishop's
spot.
Bay, chill.
Asabruta
What are you
joins
doing?
him. Gap of 2 to surface to air.
Come on.
3 more to Tuscan Sky, who gets into a better
I invested
rhythm.
way more in
Sutherland will
9-7
have
cold
pass
exactas
ball
because of
and
you
up
than I
6
would have if I wasn't
by
sitting next to you.
furlong
So
down
Well,
the
I mean,
backstretch.
we
Bishop's
don't want
Bay
this. We don't want them-
confronting Nelson Avenue on
Actually,
22 and 4 battling for no reason.
Okay.
Let Nelson Avenue go. Come on.
And trademark to the inside. Another 2 lengths to surface to air. And 2.5
Looks like they were
more.
talking there for a
Tuscan
minute.
Sky, Frankie Pennington.
Jockey
Sky just like
And he's like, what are you
the
doing?
most-
Why are
Like,
you?
what's happening
Why are
here?
you on top of me?
So during a race, how much are you guys able to speak to each other?
You can talk.
Yeah.
You can hear everything. Yeah.
So you
It's pretty
think
quiet.
you think Pratt went over to him and was like, or the 7 went over to the 9? And
He kind of was like, what's happening here? What are we doing?
Gotcha.
And he's like, I'm out. Or he's telling him, like,
It's making a little bit of a run here. The 9 looks like we thought it would.
Yeah.
We need the 7 to hang on here for a second.
Same.
Bishop's Bay looks good. Come on, 9-7 cold.
He came back out. That's good.
9-7 cold. Bishop's Bay is a very nice animal. 7's running a nice race, Dan. 9-7 cold. 9-7. Stay in there.
I think we did all right.
It's not over yet, Dan. Relax. Gonna mush me. Yeah, 9-7.
Push you. I bet the same thing. Push
Yeah.
you. Come on now. Nelson Avenue. Let's celebrate Nelson Avenue.
She came on. We started winning.
It's you. Oh,
Well, now you can't leave.
okay.
now you're just here. I hope you have no plans tonight. I mean, we're
We're here for the night races.
doing Penn National after this, so hang
Oh my
tight.
God, Penn National. Woo, I can't wait. Why don't we just
All night. Yeah.
throw in Parks?
Yeah.
That's a fun place.
How is Parks going? Everything going okay?
Everything's great.
Good.
Yeah, it's super.
Yeah. Super.
Yeah.
I'm just.
When I don't open Twitter, yeah.
I told you, it's like an OTB.
No.
Certain
it
rooms
is
you don't
not-
wanna
It
be
is
in.
not like an OTB. They were nice to me at an OTB.
So you may have missed this conversation. I don't know what time you came on. So Jessica
Not gonna bring up
calls the
Easter
races
again,
at,
right?
at Parks.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the hell that she gets as an announcer from people on Twitter. I'm sure you've experienced the harassment
Oh.
up
We
and
were
down.
mentioning this on
During
episode
jockeys,
1.
never.
Yeah.
Yeah, jockeys and anything on
Are you
X,
even on Twitter anymore?
Yeah, I am.
Why?
I don't read it. I just choose not to because it can be.
Yeah, I
it
try
can
to
hurt
avoid.
you.
I try to avoid it as much as possible, but then there are times where it's impossible to.
Yeah.
Where it just kind of it finds its way to you, or when it's very persistent.
And it's always the thing, like when someone can say like so many wonderful things, and then there's the one, and that's the one that bothers you. But
And I would like to say to you both, too, that the most successful people in horse racing aren't on Twitter. People like me and Dan are. But you don't see.
Dan can run fast, so he just runs the street.
It's fine.
No problem.
Fucking
Run
good.
fast.
He's running. He tried to run fast away from Twitter and pulled him right back in. 9-7. All right, Dan.
It's good to be
Great
right about
minds, huh?
something. Yeah. It would have been better if the 7-1 for me.
Where's
but-
Bishop Bay running next? Is he going to run? Is this a? We're going to go Whitney?
Well, this is a
This is the prep for the. What's the older stakes race on Haskell Day?
Oh my god, am I blanking on it? Hold on, I got it written down.
The Island?
It's the Monmouth Cup.
The Monmouth Cup? Okay.
Yeah, so that's free. Well, whatever entry.
Owned
fee
by
to
Michael
the
Dubb.
Monmouth Cup.
I know Jake Mamello a little bit. He is his barn manager. Great kid. Dubb, they do a great job.
Oh, look at this! Look what Pop said.
What did he say? I can't say what
He said I like Jessica's calls.
Oh, that's very kind. I did. Where are we seeing that? Oh,
There.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Dan's dad.
Pops is on board. He's on board. All right, we don't want to bring up the Easter thing again, right? We're going to leave that alone for now. We'll let him get into the Easter
Again,
thing.
Dan, this is your show. We can do whatever.
If we want to rant about that for the duration, I mean, we can.
No, so we've got one more race to cover. We're going to do the 11th race, the Eatontown Matchmaker Stakes is the is where you go from here. It's a nice field. This is Chad Pratt again. Chad has won this one not 7 times but 4 times. So,
He has 2 in here, right?
this one I think yes too. Yeah. What was the other one?
Aggie Go is going to come
Risky
from
Decision, the 7.
first time from
Yeah,
Argentina
yep.
with $23,000 in earnings. Private purchase by Michael Dubb, who just won the last race.
I like Michael Dubb. Nice guy.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I missed the beginning of what you guys were talking about with the podcast. So you decided to...
A couple of years ago, we were at a horse sale. Me and Chantel have become friendly through a friend of ours, Matt
Yeah.
Nielsen, and she was like, maybe we could do a podcast. And I was like, and people have asked me before to do podcasts. People have asked you to do podcasts before. And we've just kind of, it takes time. Dan's done them. And you guys, it's not, I'm not going to do something half-ass. Is that right? So I'm not going to, I put,
show you could say that.
Yeah, I put so much. I put so much work into watching all of the replays and charting all of the tracks and finding new biases on the turf and finding new biases on the dirt. That, it takes a lot of time. I know Chantel and I talked about doing this last summer when she was based in Saratoga. She was training horses, and there's only so many hours in the day to kind of do work, have a little bit of a life, take care of a 9-year-old. Have to listen to Dan at dinner. But we kind of came to the conclusion that if we're going to do it, we're going to do something that's a little bit different. So going inside the mind of a jockey, inside the mind of a horse player, kind of merging those two together.
Nice.
We did episode 1 last week for the first time. We kind of recapped Belmont Stakes weekends, Belmont Stakes day. And going forward, it's going to kind of be like an open forum for the time being. We're going to do some recaps of weekends. We'll recap today. We're going to kind of look forward. People that are looking for in-depth analysis on the races will kind of come to me. Anybody that has any questions on certain rides or certain trips, they could ask me. They could ask her. She has a lot more experience than I do. And from there, we're just going to kind of see what happens.
Yeah. I kind of, you're just so amazing.
We have some sponsors already, kind of, right?
Mohegan Sun.
Mohegan Sun's wants involved.
Let's go. Nice.
Giddy up.
Yeah.
They'll throw us some free rooms or something. I can set you up for March Madness or something. I don't know.
I'll go tonight.
You were down with my friend Mike Mendansky at the Belmont. Was it the Belmont?
Yes.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That is the very, very best.
Yeah. It was fun. I love Mohegan Sun. It's nice.
How are you? So one thing that I was thinking of is like if you're asked to give like really raw analysis of a ride, how comfortable are you being like that was a bad ride?
Answer the same question.
Yeah, I'd be honest, and interestingly enough, like it's not that like we make it look pretty easy. A lot of the jockeys, and sometimes I might see a scenario where a jockey didn't have any other choice. Like in one of my races earlier, Sammy Camacho got crunched from the outside, and for a second I thought he's going down, and I was like, I don't want to go over top of him, and then like, oh, we're good, okay, just keep going, and. You kind of see all these things and all these things play out, but yeah.
Well, you asked before about journalism in the Preakness.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about that, and she was very honest about it. Just go like.
Okay, to be honest, I think he made a choice to do something kind of with
talking
that kind of horse.
Yeah,
Rispoli. I think that kind of move. We're not playing football, and. I thought it was aggressive. I thought it was too much, and I think bordering on dangerous. And I think he's a great rider. I think he was in one of those moments where he was like, the hole wasn't there, and it was going to close up even more. And he went for it, and he was a bit careless to Steve Asmussen's horse. And I think Jose might have had a heart attack there for a minute. And I don't think it was fun for any of the horses. And I think Flavien only could do what he could do. And I think he was just shocked. There was not a space for that horse. And I think these are $1 million horses with a lot of future, and it could have been ugly. And thank God nothing happened, because it would have been a real mess.
I think that move is inappropriate in a bottom claimer too. I
agree.
I think it's inappropriate kind of across the board.
Super dicey, man.
And you look like a hero when it works, but if it hadn't, or if it had gone really poorly, then we're having an entirely different conversation.
Yeah. And these people pay a lot of money. I agree with it doesn't matter how much money you spend for horses, but these are high quality, strong, powerful horses, and yeah.
Well,
we should be protecting everybody. Like, everyone should be trying to take care of everyone and what's under you, regardless.
For sure.
I mean, he must have for 2 weeks though heard people saying he moved too early in the Derby. Picking apart his Derby ride, and for him that was like, well, look, I can't screw this up. Like,
as a rider, how much does that stick with you? Like if you make a choice on a horse a couple of weeks back, and you get the opportunity to ride them again, how much is the mistake that you made?
Absolutely great question. And you know what? And I think that was the beauty of what we talked about with Junior Alvarado and Billy Mott, because there's no pressure there, and because he has so much trust, and they have such good relationship.
The Belmont.
In the Belmont, he had a beautiful race where he's on the rail. He's not worried about anything. Maybe Rispoli's kind of worried about, the backlash from the previous race, the Kentucky Derby, and then he's like, trying to save ground, and he had enough horse to go outside, but he maybe he kind of maybe had a panic moment there, and it wasn't as smooth. And it's really important for a jockey, sure, you're going to read some stuff about you, but sometimes it's better not to, and just get clear in your mind, ride your race, and you do sometimes have to take chances, but when these bigger races, it's important to plan it out. I know not everything goes perfectly, but when you got really good horses like this, sometimes a little wider, sometimes to be safer, and definitely that situation, you just can't plow through people. You can't.
I remember we were talking about the Preakness, just if we could stop talking about this, but Rispoli, when he was coming around the turn in the Preakness, this is from the mind of a jockey, right? From the mind of a horse player. I'm singled and I'm all in on journalism. And around the turn, we're about halfway around the second turn in Pimlico, and he's a European rider, and this could be a little bit wrong, but I've come to the realization that they tend to go inside. They're normally turf riders. They want to save ground, find their hole, like what happens in Dubai, Australia, Hong Kong a lot. They're going to go inside. So he had, you see it clear as day if you go back and you watch, especially the NBC had like the head on, or the overhead view. He had his chance. You saw him looking around, and he had his chance. He said, I can go outside, and I might lose by a length, or I can go inside and make my own path. And you give him the opportunity to try to win the Preakness, which is one of the biggest races inside the mind of a horse player. I want a guy that is going to now. He put people at risk. He put horses at risk. He could have put the jockeys at risk.
And he rode it like a turf race, honestly.
He rode it like a turf race because he's more or less a turf.
And those races over in Europe and in Dubai were 16-horse fields, so you kind of got to make your own way. But on turf, you can stop and go easier. On dirt, you got to be a little smoother. So, and we can't stop and go so quick. But I would say that mentality, because the fields are so massive, the only way you can be the cream that rises to the top is you got to find holes. Sometimes you got to make them too.
And I want to be clear about my criticism of him. And I also, when I'm criticizing a rider, I'm a bad show horse rider. I'd be a much worse jockey. Let's be clear. I like to look at a jockey's body of work when I'm being too critical. He's not one who I feel routinely does boneheaded things or puts people at risk. I think for the most part, he's pretty,
he's a good jockey.
Yeah, and he's pretty cognizant of his peers out there.
Yeah.
So he's not one that I think is habitually reckless. I think it was just, I think he was very excited on by far the best horse, and I don't know what it's like. I ride show horses with some blood, but it's not the same as a racehorse. You're sitting on dynamite.
Yeah, and I think he had one moment where he could have went outside, and he didn't take it.
Midway of the turn,
and he took a chance.
He looked.
And it was a big chance, and he must have saw something else. He must have saw that he was going to get through, and then the whole, flat. They just didn't. It didn't materialize for him. So then he was like, he had an oh Jesus moment, and he's like, I got to make this hole because I have too much horse. He knew he had so much.
Oh, and with that much horse under you, do you feel like you have to get out at some point?
Well, it happened so fast. So I think when he thought to go out, and then he didn't take it, then the other horse was coming back, and he was kind of stuck, and then he's in there.
But with all that momentum still underneath you, right?
Right, and you know how much horse you have, and there's usually a part in the race where you have a chance to win, and I think he knew when he thought to go out, he's like, I'm loaded, and it was like so much is happening in your brain.
That's what's so incredible about jockeys. It's split-second decisions that people can go back on Twitter or on TV or on NBC or anywhere else and go, he should have done this or you could have done that. But when you're sitting on top of this dynamite, as you would say, and he's in one of the biggest races of his career, on one of the best horses of his career, he's going to make that split decision that was probably the wrong decision to do, but he's trying to win. And
also, too, when the horses are coming back at you, you're moving, and then you have to navigate when they come back. If they come back a little quick, and you can't jump their heels, So it's that you have to kind of see which ones are starting to come back, and you have to get away from them. It's like Star Wars. You're like, you're in that right? Don't they do that in Star Wars where they
Yeah,
come
when-
at
when
you
the-
and you're
when
like,
those stars come out. Yeah.
I want to be like
I'm not a
Luke
big Star
Skywalker.
Wars fan, though.
No.
Not a big Star Wars fan yesterday, though, because Baby Yoda cost me the pick 6.
No way.
Like $100,000.
All right, save this for the podcast. Save this. It's a good material for the podcast. Where can people catch the podcast before we let you go?
Follow us on Twitter at Giddy Up Bets.
Okay.
At Jockey Chantel 33.
Yeah, Instagram.
I'm going to throw out all the links. It's going to be on YouTube across all podcast platforms.
Okay.
And
We
please
have,
give us a listen.
sorry to interrupt you. We have an editor, Chantel is her name as well. So he's got
That's so
bookends.
confusing.
That's
Chantel
easy
and
to remember.
Chantel.
So confusing.
We got
for me.
Ottawa Chantel and we got Jersey Chantel.
C1 and C2, is that
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, she's 1, though. 1 and 1A. I would
1
say.
and 1A. When are the shows going to drop? Like once a week, once every 2 weeks?
We're
What's
going
the
to do
plan?
them weekly, but I think what I think is going to be a little bit fun about it is that we're going to do quick, to the point kind of updates.
Okay.
Maybe a couple times during the week, but we're probably going to do it weekly, and it keeps some consistency to it and find some value and try to help people print some money and learn a little bit more about horse racing. And
I'm
get
going to
in the
add some content with like the backside. I'll take some video with here and there and see what Chantel can do and add it into the podcast and,
Nice.
see what it's like to be a jockey and kind of little things that I do to add to just your amazingness, Mark.
Yeah, well, you got to get him into your world. You got to get him on top of horses and on
geez.
equicizers and all the rest of it. And then he's got to challenge
I
you on the
wouldn't make weight.
handicapping, all
I
the
like
giddy up
this.
stuff.
This is good.
You got to challenge each other. I
Okay,
think that's
well,
the way to do it.
we get started.
Wanna
do that
come
right
ride
after
my
I beat you in a
yellow
race.
No.
We should try and get you in some
Please?
silks. See how that goes.
Silks?
There you go. Yeah, bring
Like,
a
would you
set
put
of
on those silks?
Yeah, no, sorry.
They
The
make
racing stretch.
triple extra large silks?
There's a lot of stretch. It's okay.
Yeah, we have the speed silks. That
Yeah,
could
they're-
work.
they're
I was on a
really
horse
Try
once
those.
in Arizona, and
Yeah.
the horse refused. He was like, and I was like, see you later.
Speaking of silks, the racing silks, not like pajama silks or other kind of silks. But when I was in Dubai, and this is how we talk in America, I was like, so, I don't understand why you trainers don't ride me. Like, you should, just ride me. And they're like, what did you say? Like, what? What
Yeah, let's, you want to rephrase that? Yeah.
They're like, you can't say that. You say, you want to ride for me. I'm like, whatever. Just ride me.
Figure it out.
Put me on.
Before we let you go, real quick, you got a pick in this race, the Eatontown or an exacta? 2. What's your exacta? 2 what?
We hit the exacta last race.
You got to hit another one.
Is the 2 bet right? The 2's bet right.
4 and 5 are scratched, by the way.
I'll go
The
2.
4
I'll go 2-1 cold.
2-1. All right. Chuck. Not surprising. All right.
You asked me to come on here,
No,
Dan. And
no. We're
I'm
messing
trying
up. Mark Dorenzo,
Thank
Chantel
you.
Sutherland, thank you both for stopping in, spending time with us, and we're gonna listen to the podcast. We're gonna
Can't
follow
wait.
it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're gonna tag in this guy, Brian. Don't go too far. Don't go too far. All right, so Brian Skirka's coming in. We're gonna let you guys get back. You could go home, I guess, if you want, unless you're planning on staying here for
I've
long.
never been to a racetrack and left before the last
All right, well,
race,
then
so
stay
I'm not
here.
about to cut
Say-
that.
I'll see you at the end of the day then. All right, thank you guys both
Thank
for being
you.
here. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so we have.
Looking like I've had an entire party here.
It looks like it was all you, and it's
Yeah.
like really this was 90% of my damage.
Most of it's on you,
And it's
though.
like this mustard. I just brought this back from dry cleaning, which sucks. It really sucks.
You are a magnificent creature.
No, I am not. I'm not. Do you remember Brian from last year? You know Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already know Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Brian.
Yeah. It's not my first day.
Oh my God, we really should do. We should do this more often. It's ridiculous that we only do this once a year.
Yeah, I think we should.
Right?
Maybe we should start a podcast.
We should start a podcast. Like, at least they have like 2 specific skills. Like, you have a skill, I have no skill. So like, I don't know what we would do.
Again, if you ask the internet, it is very debatable.
Well, no, because it'd be like, all right, so Dan calls a race and Jessica
Wears a
eats
hat?
stuff
And drinks a
and
cocktail.
drinks alcohol.
That could be fun.
Yeah, Brian.
Eating and drinking, I'm involved.
Yeah, there we go. So it's someone who could relate to the things that I've perfected.
Of course.
How is Haskell Preview Day going for you?
It's been great. The
Yeah.
weather has been non-supportive, but the races have gone on very smoothly. I think it's great to have you guys here. Welcome back, Jess.
Thank you
and
for
Dan,
having
of
us.
course. But no, we're having fun. I did bring you guys gifts. We also have a hoodie giveaway today, in addition
Amazing.
to the races.
I was wondering how I could get one
So,
of those.
help
I love
yourselves.
free things.
There's 4 in there, and there's two of you and two camera folks.
What?
So
Thank you.
What a-
That's
what a
very
guy.
nice.
Dude, seriously, thank you. That's
The
awesome.
Monmouth welcome is always so wonderful. And for me, on another level, there are so many of my old friends from Suffolk Downs here that this always feels like the best homecoming. I got to see one of the valets who was a valet at Suffolk Downs a million years ago, one of my favorite humans in the whole world. This has been so much fun.
yeah, for us, it's easy. I was talking with the camera guys yesterday as we were setting up, like, how hard is it just to be accommodating and be organized? And yeah, here's your space,
Be surprised.
boom. Unfortunately, that's what I hear from different people, but it's like, how is that possible? Like, all you have to do is plan, be organized, be accommodating, help people out.
Do you work in horse racing? Have you done
I
this
think
long?
I think so.
It's not just because you're here. JD actually yesterday when I spoke to him, he's like, dude, that guy Brian, man, like he's in love.
Oh, good.
now.
That was
Like, I mean,
$100 well spent then. When I gave
He's like Brian. He's like, he's like he makes these shoots, these productions so easy. Like this is a trip that we love doing every year. Like, I mean, but seriously,
That's the whole point. Because again, I mean, we're friends and we're colleagues, so like I know you guys would do it anyway. But if we treat you right, maybe you guys say, hey, instead of giving our normal 140%, we're going to give 150% as compared to maybe some other places where you don't get treated well. So for us, it's easy. I mean, what else are we going to do? Treat you right.
The thing I love so much about Monmouth also is that it still feels like a proper racetrack to me. And there's a charm to it and a character, and it's one of my favorite racetracks still left in the country.
Yeah, I mean, truly, when it's probably at least 10 years now that the state of New Jersey decided they wanted out of horse racing. So, like, we were privately leased by literally a horseman's group. So it is, owners and trainers, and it's their influence. So we're not a racino. We're not a sports betting for we got sports betting because to help horse racing. It's not like, oh, we're done with horse racing, let's bring in a new revenue source because we don't make any money on horse racing and we need money elsewhere. Like, we got sports betting to turn those sports bettors into horse bettors. So that everything we do is to get them here to bet on racing.
Yeah, I mean, I've told the story many times how like my first job in racing was actually working concessions here. I love this track. It holds a special place in my heart. A lot of people I talk to are like, oh yeah, I'm taking my summer trip to Saratoga. And I'm like, look, if you're going to be in this area for any period of time during the summer, you have to come to Monmouth. Like, Saratoga is great. We love Saratoga. It's a carnival. It is what it is. This is like stepping back in time in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of cool new stuff, but also like, if you ever had an image of like what a horse track should be, I think this checks all the boxes.
No, it's a combination of, the building is 80 years old, so part good, part bad. I'm sure there's a few leaks today, but also the building's 80 years old, so that's a lot of nostalgia and everything. The Hall of Champions right on the other side of us, all the horses that have run here that are inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Hits my heart.
You just walk down the aisle and you see, Rachel Alexander, all the best of the best of the best, in our age bracket and before our age bracket that were here. And then you walked in, there's a picnic area, there's plenty of BYO, we get a lot of, one of the things I like the best is, my grandfather brought me, and now I'm a dad and I'm bringing my child, or I worked at valet, or even, I worked in food and beverage, and we get a lot of that, where you come for the first time, however it is, your family brought you, you worked here one summer, and you just have this, like, I need to come back and bring people that I love here, because it's just one of those types of places.
Spectacular, yeah. So, and tomorrow's a big day here every year. I want you to talk about that and some of the other upcoming fun dates that we have on the calendar here.
Yeah, Father's Day usually is our second biggest day of the year, beside Haskell, of course. So we'll get, knock on wood, 25,000 people here. It'll be crazy. And that's one of our key days because, again, I came with my family on Father's Day when I was 2 years old, and then we did that every year for 20 years. And now I have my son, who's our daughter, who's a 2-year-old. So now I'm bringing them. Like, that's one of our core days. So a lot of the people that are here tomorrow might not know how to handicap off of form, the first time that they're here. But when they come back for their 20th Father's Day, they will have learned. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's okay. Like, I feel like in the industry, we get a lot of, like, oh, yeah, they had a huge crowd that day, but what did they bet? What did the average person bet? $8? Like, one, $8 is better than zero.
Absolutely.
If they're not here, they're betting zero. And two, like, the first time I came to the track, I probably bet $8, if that.
I think people find their way to invest in the sport in a lot of different ways.
True. Such a good point.
The horse players are such an important part, of course, but then there are so many avenues to really invest as an owner, as a trainer, as someone who makes their living working in this sport, we give a lot more than just money into the industry.
No, 100%. It's to me the biggest thing is getting them here to begin with. Obviously, there's a 0% chance we're going to make money off anyone if they're not here. So whether it's Father's Day, Haskell Preview Day, Haskell Day, a food truck festival, get them here first. And then when they're here, teach them about racing, make sure they come back a second time, then make sure they come back 100th time 10 years from now.
And there's room in the sport for people to enjoy the sport however you want to. We all fall in love with this sport in very different ways. I was just a horse crazy kid and then understood the handicapping and the gambling part afterwards, but it was always, for me, the horses that brought me to the racetrack more than anything else.
100%. There's absolutely nothing wrong with spending 2, 3, 4 hours at the racetrack, having a few drinks, betting, even if you bet $10.
Pretzels are good.
Getting a pretzel. There's absolutely...
Even my jacket loves the pretzels and the mustard.
You got so carried away that you just had
He
to
was
go
so
out.
excited about the pretzel. He just
It's a
everywhere.
mess.
I don't like when we as an industry shame people for coming to the racetrack and doing it the wrong way.
Sure.
Just have them come to the races and enjoy it. And if they turn into someone that loves betting and that's what they love about it, fantastic. Cool. If they come back 50 times purely because they love the fashion and they're just here to have a few drinks with their friends, fantastic. That's okay.
I think we really struggle, isn't it? Oh, they're going to the gate.
Yeah, they're going into the gate. So real quick, you have your PPs out. Do you have do you want to give us some analysis here, or you just have them for
I thought this was one of the best races of the day, actually. I actually really liked Ozara. The conditions kind of throw a
little bit of not the top choice, right? Or is Ozara the top choice?
No, the one, Chad Brown is the favorite. And this horse could be anything.
So
first time in the U.S., this horse might just be a horse, or this horse might be, a future Breeders' Cup winner. You never know with these kinds coming in from Argentina. But I thought Ozara was interesting. I thought her last race was really, really good down at Gulfstream.
Okay, so that's the 3-horse. Jessica, where'd you land here?
5 Towns, not really being creative here, but in Grand Motion I always trust.
I like the name Whiskey Decision. There's also somebody in the comments who likes Whiskey Decision. I don't know that Whiskey Decision is going to win, but I think she's going to be right there. That's the 7-horse. So I'd put the 7 in the mix. So we've got 3, 2, and 7 on the set.
It's the area code here, 732.
Oh, there you go. I should have said it that way. 732, exactly. All right, let's see if hopefully the sound is... there we go. There's the sound from Matt Dinnerman.
Ozara broke sharply from the inside. Maggie Go a little bit quicker. She's going to stride in front. Maggie Go getting off the fence just a little bit. Now back to the rail. Leads the way by about a length here. Now it's a half length from Damaso, who's going to apply some heat here. Looks like Maggie goes on a strong hold to take back off Damaso, and Damaso's going to go on with it. Damaso from the outside getting towards the inside now, and opens up a length and a half on Maggie Go, who's got a target to chase ahead of her, running in the second position as they go into the first turn run. So it's going to be Damaso to set the pace. She's a length and a half clear here. In second is Maggie Go. 5 Towns on the outside of Whiskey Decision, who is between horses, and Ozara's down at the rail. The quintet of fillies and mares swing up the backstretch. They're separated by 3 lengths, and Damaso 29-1.
Like the shameless,
leads the way by a length here. Maggie Go off the fence of the 2-path tracking. A well-placed spot by Flavian Pratt, she's second. Her stablemate, Whiskey Decision, is third with 5 Towns, and Ozara unrestrained at the back on a hold, down on the inside of horses, and she's 3 lengths off the lead as they go into the far turn here. Damaso, half length in front, now it's a neck. Maggie Go turning up the pressure as they round the far turn. Length and a half to 5 Towns, patiently ridden from third. Whiskey Decision
that is a move.
Shown a little more rain.
Wow. That's a big
on the
move.
outside, Ozara's let loose, trying to circle
and up the rail.
Gets into third at the top of the stretch. Whiskey Decision, the rail's wide open for her to come through here. Damaso gives way. Maggie Go trying to go with the stablemate. Whiskey Decision on the far outside. Ozark battling 5 Towns.
Whiskey Decision has to win because I actually didn't get my bet in.
So you guaranteed
100%. There you go. Right. Well, hopefully someone bet the 7 based on that. So.
I think the same thing happened last year. We watched a race, and you said, I was going to bet this horse, but I didn't get it in, and right to the winner's circle.
It's as soon as we came up the rail there, I knew it. But hey, not bad calls here on the table. We were all in the mix. So Whiskey Decision. So that's, I guess maybe we'll see Whiskey Decision in the Matchmaker Stakes. Yep. So actually, it's been. I mean, we have had a couple of favorites win, but it's been a good day if you're looking for value.
I think so. You know, the conditions always throw a wrench in things. You do your handicapping during the week, and then do I change it because it's muddy or the wet turf? That's always a hang up for me. You try to double think things, and I just stick with my first opinion. I find is the right way. But yeah, it seems like it's a day where you can certainly make some money. And then it'll be fun to hopefully see a bunch of these horses come back on Haskell Day proper with some sun out, hopefully. And
Yep.
I saw my breath earlier. Like, it's June 14th. I saw my breath.
So sad. I don't know
It's
what's
chilly.
happening. Yeah. I like how you said it's chilly to Brian as if like it was his fault somehow. You're like why
No,
why did you do
the
this?
thing is, you blame the racetrack,
Could
right?
you not have done anything
obvious.
about
You
this?
either blame the announcer or the racetrack
Yeah.
for
Like,
everything. So
could have
yes,
turned the temperature
you
up
could-
a little higher.
That was a very
Couldn't you have
horse
done
racing
better?
and racetrack comment. Like, oh, it's cold outside.
Yeah. Have you looked at tomorrow? Is tomorrow going to be better? Because I'm coming back tomorrow, but on my own time. I'm
So
coming
knock
back.
on wood, I don't think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but it's
Okay.
going to be the same temperature. So
Okay.
like bring a
But
jacket.
the no rain will be nice. Okay. So you mentioned Haskell Day, July 19th. Any other days which we should circle on the calendar coming up?
We have a few festivals. If you're in the area, we do a PDF jockey event on the 27th, so 2 weeks from yesterday.
Okay.
Over at Blue Grotto Beer Garden. The jockeys are the bartenders.
Oh, that's
so
such a
always
cool
fun
event.
night. We throw them
Yeah.
behind the bar for the night. All the tips for the 2 hours where they're out there go to the PDJF, which is fun. We have a classic car show coming up 4th of July weekend, and then August is a lot of food festivals. So Italian and wine festival, Latin festival, barbecue and beer. So save up your appetite for August.
Love it. So monmouthpark.com, you get all that information there.
Yep, all the events are there. We have a bunch of handicapping contests. You know, Haskell Day, we do a big handicapping contest, a few Monmouth Saratoga contests. Everything you could possibly need is up there.
Nice. What does the Haskell contest look like in terms of buy-in and prizes? And stuff like that?
$1,000 buy-in, so $500 entry fee. $500 goes on your bankroll. It's Monmouth races only, and then we do probably about 8 BCBC seats and 2 NHC seats plus cash. So if you're in the top 10, you're going to get something.
Nice. All right. Very good. The 7-horse.
Still full of run on the gallop out.
Seriously. Wants to go again. Whiskey Decision pays $10 to win.
Might need the outrider.
My God, $10 to win. That's Sammy Camacho. And what do you know? Chad Brown at 4-1 has a 5th win in the Eatontown
Has he ever run 1-2 in a stakes race before? I feel like that's like an unfathomable occurrence that Chad Brown would ever
shocking.
won. I can't believe, especially on turf. I can't believe it's
Never.
ever.
Never.
Seems unlikely.
This up and coming kid.
Oh my God. All right. Well, we got one more race to go. We're gonna wrap up. We were just, we wanted to do the setup races, right? The 7th,
Of course.
the 8th through the 11th. All those races you just saw. You're gonna see the winners and maybe some of those runners up coming back in the on Haskell Day itself on July 19th. Let's see. All right, take that there. We had a couple of videos we wanted to show. I'm going to play one of the videos before we wrap up. It's a video. I love this story. So JD, who's behind the camera here, with Alex Probst, but JD shot this video. This is a. Are you leaving us? You ready to leave?
I feel like you were kicking me out.
Well,
there.
yeah. Well, I mean, no. I mean, we'll wrap up. But I want you to watch this video. I want you to be excited.
Okay, yeah, let's watch. Let's watch it.
This is such a good video.
Let's watch it.
So this is the Kentucky Oaks Day. Have you heard of Stable Recovery? Have you heard of the program? So it's a program where, basically people who are in recovery get to do their recovery through help, kind of working with horses through horsemanship and that sort of thing. So it was a great program. One of the people who went through it originally was Will Walden, who is Elliot Walden's son. He's a trainer. So great piece. We were with them on Kentucky Oaks Day when they had a horse run.
They had Bless the Broken in the Kentucky Oaks, right?
Yes. So this is it. So let's look back at Bless the Broken on the Kentucky Oaks Day.
Well, we were praying for rain all day long because Will seems to think that this horse is going to do better on a sloppy track. So that's been a good thing for us today. So we're excited. I don't know what to feel like. I'm nervous and excited, and never in a million years did we think this would be where we're at right now.
Christian counselors, it's hard to find the perfect adjective or description that explains what he is in my life. Close friend would be one of them. Guardian angel. Went to college on a basketball scholarship, and while in college, really started abusing drugs and alcohol. It was a 12-year battle. He was running the Shepherd's House when I checked in for the first time in 2018. It was a program that he had graduated. He's now co-founder of his own program called Stable Recovery. Christian was there for the beginning of the end. My life was completely spiraled out of control. I would come in for 3 months and relapse and inevitably be holed up in some motel room. Christian's approach to getting guys to admit defeat is he never tells them to walk through the door. Shows them where the door is, but understands that in order for real change to happen, it's got to be their choice. And while everybody else was on the other end of the phone begging me to go to treatment, Christian would just show up, throw me a cheeseburger, say whenever you're ready, you know what number to call, and that was 4.5 years ago. I got to where I was on my own. I didn't get out of where I was on my own, you know?
Thanks, guys. The trainer Will Walden, who has blessed the broken. How would you describe walking over with your first Kentucky Oaks startup?
Yeah, I mean, look, this moment's not about me, right? It's about her and all the work she did to get here. It's about the excellent team of men and women I have that work and get up on a daily basis so that we can have these kind of opportunities. It's about a buddy of mine named Josh Bryan that went through recovery with me and unfortunately lost his life last week due to complications in a surgery. It's about those guys. It's about everybody that puts forth the effort in each every day, and it's her.
How do you feel going into the Oaks? What kind of trips she gets? And obviously the track taking on a little bit water. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we wanted that. We said it right after the Bourbonette that we wanted rain for the Oaks. But I think she'll sit mid-pack or a little bit behind it. Seems to be a lot of speed, and I think she'll just sit off that. We're not going to tell Johnny what to do.
She looks great. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck, buddy.
I love you, pal. I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
They're off in the Kentucky Oaks. It was a good start for Good Cheer. Lacara, as expected, is sent along. And the pace is hot indeed. 22.58 was the opening quarter.
Western Broken is running the long at night. Ballerina Duros in some traffic.
As they come to the top of the stretch, Lacara off the turning
She ran great.
Good job, Dave.
Congratulations.
How's it feel to hit the board in the Kentucky Oaks?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. We'll try and come back and win it next time.
Yeah, exactly. A great run, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
What did
Great.
Velasquez say?
Oh, he said she gave it all. You know, he got kind of thrown wide there by the winner, and she gave him everything. She ran awesome.
What were you expecting from her?
I expected her to like this, but also that's an incredible filly that won. It was going to take a huge effort. Our filly came and she brought it. You know what I mean? She brought it all. So you can't be disappointed. So happy for her.
Yeah. You would have thought we won.
I know.
You ran huge, buddy.
Stable Recovery, if you're not familiar with the program, check them out. They're doing incredible work in Kentucky. So, yeah, shout out to Stable Recovery.
Horses just have such an amazing, I think, transformative power for people, and it's incredible to see it at work.
Yep. Well, Brian, thank you again for having us here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Can't wait for you to come back.
Yeah, no, this has been awesome. July 19th, Haskell, the big day here. We might see a big name or two. Fingers crossed, we'll see a big name or two.
Let's hope so. We always seem to pull in somebody, and no matter what, we're gonna have fun.
Absolutely. Want to thank Jessica for coming in again for this Haskell Preview Day. Like I said, we should do this more than just once a year.
Absolutely.
Like, we got to figure something out.
And now I'm more local now that I live in Philly, so this is right in my backyard.
All right. Well, let's do it again soon. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Thank you to all of our guests who joined us. JD, Alex, thank you for setting everything up.
The best, guys.
Making us look good here. This is America's Best Racing, live in Monmouth Park. We will see you next time. Oh, I do have to do the closeout video, don't I? That's on me. All right, New Orleans?
Is this your first day?
Oh, go Oilers, he said. Oh, yeah, and also go to Chili's. We want to go to Chili's. We're going to go to Chili's. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport.